here in Philadelphia or if you grew up a New Yorker like Sean Farish. If Larry Krasner or Alvin Bragg really wanted to clean up the streets of their respective municipalities, jurisdictions that they are the district attorneys of, get subways and public transportation cleaned up, they could do all of this if they really wanted to. They have it in the budget. They're just on an agenda and a vendetta to empower the criminals.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Hey everyone, welcome into the Dom Giordano Show. Only 3 hours today, noon until 3 with you. Great guest stopping by, our favorite, Scott Jennings, the guy who every night owns CNN. He'll be here at 2. And John Yoo, the attorney extraordinaire, Philadelphia native, big-time attorney during the Bush years, Gitmo and all that. He'll be here to break down all these Supreme Court decisions. We have those Phillies tickets for Money Melody at around 2:13, 2:14 today. But want to start off with a lot of stuff and a great side question today. As you know, if you're a new listener regularly, I periodically swerve into it because the name and my association with the Dean of Decency. Remember when she ran for Congress out there in Montgomery County a few years back? She told the story of a guy who braved a rainstorm like today, only worse, soaking wet. Comes up and shakes her hand, tells her he wants her to win, to go to Washington and restore decency. You know why? That was the first Trump term. Well, I saw Madeline Dean today. I was flipping the channels. CNN, their morning show, which is abysmal, but I was transfixed. They had Madeline Dean on to talk about tariffs, about Trump, about working people, what her constituents were saying. Now, no word from Congresswoman Madeline Dean, though. They didn't ask. You know, Congresswoman, you have some experience with this. The first time you ran, your opponent and Joe DiStefano, the Philadelphia Inquirer business guy, really raised some interesting questions in this whole. She is the walking template of Democrats in this whole nonsense that's going on with China. Her husband had a big bike company. The bikes were registered in Taiwan, but made in mainland China. And the Philadelphia Inquirer extensively, I'll read you a little bit of it in a second, went after her on this. And they asked the question, is it a conflict directly from the Inquirer to profit from Chinese workers while, slave wages, while she calls on American employers to raise theirs? She's one of these big mouths constantly attacking corporate America, but they made their money off the back of Chinese laborers in what appear to be pretty bad conditions. And during the election campaign, the Inquirer wrote, Dean complained of Trump's aggressive trade and tariff strategy. Now, this was in the first Trump term, which made it more expensive for importers, such as her husband, the Bike King, to bring in Chinese bikes from, quote, low-wage factories, such as the one operated by Ideal, name of a bike company, in China's southern Guangdong province. Trump says the Inquirer, that he hopes to restore American factories and industrial jobs, but Dean's husband said it was unlikely that American companies that shut U.S. factories decades ago would resume making bikes and other sporting goods. More likely, Americans will buy instead from other low-wage countries such as Vietnam, he testified in federal trade hearings last year. All right, remember, all this from the Inquirer. Joe DiStefano goes on, the Inquirer goes on to say that Dean said in announcing her campaign, we can and must grow our economy. She called for good-paying jobs, strong union jobs, a livable wage. They write she faces Republican Dan David in November's general election. This is a guy who exposed the first-time opponent, what was going on in communist China. And they write, but does Dean practice what she preaches? Her husband's bicycle company has deep financial ties to a Taiwan-based company that makes bikes in mainland China, has invested buckets of money in her husband's business. She hasn't answered basic questions about those relationships as required by law. In response to my questions, her campaign promised this week to amend her filings. I've written about her opponent's business. David is a partner in this business investigating China-based companies. The opponent on U.S. stock markets was a basis for last year's documentary, The China Hustle. So I wasn't surprised when he suggested I take a look at Dean's family assets, including a company that imports bicycles from China. You know what? Again, may not be illegal anything here, but the bottom line is, how does CNN have her on? Do they not do any basic research? Do they not do anything and ask a question and say, you know, you have a unique situation here. You are aggressively talking higher wages. You're attacking Trump and what he's doing here. And it seems like you're in the camp of exactly what President Trump is trying to upend, people that are badgering American companies, but profiting bigly, so to speak, from this nonsense with China. So keep that in mind. I don't think you're going to hear that anywhere else. In other words, right here in our own backyard, one of the principal Democrats, the Dean of Decency, this is what went on. The voters in Montgomery County, though, ignored the Inquirer and others, but you would think that CNN, etc., might at least inform somebody about this. But I guess that's down the memory hole. It's not that many years ago. Isn't it relevant to what we're talking about now? All right, probably the good news story of the day, to me, there are two of them. I was asking yesterday on the Dom Giordano show about the fact that President Trump was putting a tariff on pharmaceuticals. And here, the Swiss pharma company, begins with an N, Norvitis, is announced just this morning, late last night really, $23 billion U.S. investment days after Trump pledged a major tariff on drug imports. Pharmaceutical company Novartis announced plans to build 7 facilities in the United States and expand others in a $23 billion investment over 5 years on the heels of President Trump's announcement of forthcoming tariffs on imported drugs. The Swiss company revealed the major investment in a press release. Quote, the commitment enables us to expand on current manufacturing, research, and technology presence across the country with 10 facilities, including a brand new facilities, creating nearly 1,000 jobs. The key thing is that the jobs are nice. Here we're actually seeing, and I want to underline this, we're actually seeing movement on a critical part of this. You know, rather than just getting caught up in all the vague stuff out there. Remember during COVID how we were shocked to learn to the degree that we depend on medicines of all sorts from China. I mean, you know, I've heard some Democrats out there saying, why are you going after them? We trade with them or not. We trade with them out of necessity. We've gotten into this. We shouldn't have gotten into this. We know that whole story. That doesn't mean we're going to continue to be at the beck and call of our enemy. And that's what they are. Not an adversary. They're the enemy. So this idea that the Swiss company now is expanding, I hope that we hear a lot more of this in the very near future, of this expansion, of creating more medical supplies here in the United States. You can imagine the demand is gigantic, and here this company is investing a lot to fulfill it. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. The other good news is several news organizations that lean a little bit more liberal. They are today reporting what I've been talking about, that, hey, it's very clear that Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, and even more Navarro, the, shall we say, aggressive tariff guy, have been put on the bench here a little bit. And Scott Bessent has assumed the role, the front, and seemingly to me, the president's listening to his strategy more than anybody at this point. And that's exactly what should happen. He has calmed things. He's moving methodically with the negotiations with these countries. Now we're hearing Democrats saying, that'll take forever. It's not going to take forever. I mean, a lot of things are already in play on the basics. These have to be marathon sessions, get working through the weekend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let's get something on the scoreboard here of a good agreement with one of the friendlier nations. And he is the critical guy. And every time that I see he's out there as the critical guy, I feel more reassured. You should too, because it speaks well that things are working the way they should. Now, a couple of other things close to home, and we'll flesh these out throughout the show today. Alina Habba, remember when we talked about the president's legal counsel being made the U.S. attorney, interim U.S. attorney in New Jersey? Well, now she has jumped into the ring big time. We'll play it for you in a little bit. And she is the one that is pushing now what should happen as far as law enforcement in New Jersey, aiding ICE, aiding our effort to take illegal criminals off the streets of New Jersey and everywhere else. You may remember we told you yesterday that Phil Murphy jumped in, Pat Callahan. Yeah, shame that guy's the head of a great organization, the New Jersey State Police. And in writing told them in no uncertain terms, they're not to lift a finger. They're to do nothing to enforce the law when it comes around immigration and ICE and the Trump administration. So Alina Habba now on Fox last night indicating full-bore investigation up and down the line on Murphy and the Attorney General. Let's turn up the heat here. My God, what could Phil Murphy be involved in? So let's say over the next 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to be interesting to see what they unearth. The other part, the other thing that I'm really interested in, and to get him on, Congressman Ryan McKenzie from Lehigh Valley was on last night. They had McKenzie, and they had one of those New York congressmen on with a Democrat who didn't say too much and another Democrat female from Connecticut who just talked the whole time. And in the middle of this, McKenzie now is being scorched, and he shouldn't be. I think he said it appropriately, with the measles outbreak in Texas and the like that we know about. He talked about the dangers of people here illegally and various diseases. Because people here illegally, in many instances, have not had any vaccinations or any health, all kinds of issues. We've seen outbreaks of TB in the past, etc. It's a reasonable thing to talk about as one of the major downsides of what happens with illegal immigrations on the scale that we've seen. So McKenzie hopefully will be on the show in one of the next couple of days, but they're really going after him. This is outrageous. And the Democrat congresswoman from Connecticut was proud of the fact that she now renounced her vote on Laken Riley, on protecting Americans. She claimed she didn't know, and she's for due process, etc. Is there any more evidence that we need of why the Democrats are at 21% approval? And even that, I kind of doubt, 21%, one of the lowest we've ever seen. And, you know, it's one thing. You know, do you really want to go back and bring up Laken Riley and your vote? Do you really want to go down that path? Americans are paying attention to stuff like that. They may not know every inner detail on the Laken Riley stuff, but you know what? They know enough to remember this. So those are just a few of the things that are happening. And again, one more thing to mention, the SAVE Act coming up, the bill that was passed by the Republicans this week, which says you have to prove U.S. citizenship. If you're not registered to vote now legally, you have to prove U.S. citizenship in the future to vote. I think stands a chance, if it comes to a vote in the Senate, to pass. Who in the world can be against that? Well, 208 Democrats voted against that this week. Let me give you the side question today. I think we have a really good one. Of course, the decks are starting to clear that we see a showdown. And that's what I've wanted all the way back to last week, rather than just the tariffing of these more friendly countries like Australia, the UK, where we do have they have a bit of an advantage that we have to work on. But it's China. It's always been China. So this is an ultimate showdown. So what I'd like today is your all-time showdown, your all-time big-time rivals meeting. So it's China, USA versus China. I'll take a couple off the board, all right? And again, we should get some really good ones today. Pepsi versus Coke. I don't know if it's that much of a rivalry anymore, but at one point, people actually were choosing up sides, although I think Coke has always had a slight advantage. Big-time rivals. Edison and Tesla. I never knew, I've always thought of Edison as the guy until Dan started with the Tesla stuff, how big of a rivalry this was. And Musk did name the company Tesla, not Edison. So Edison and Tesla, and I'll also take off the board Ford and Ferrari. Remember the film, The 24 Hours, and that has been a huge, of course, there are some that are worse. When you have Hamilton and Aaron Burr, back then, these epic showdowns ended up in a duel. And, of course, Aaron Burr shot to death Alexander Hamilton. So there's that. All right, those are a few that I have. But 855-839-1210, we picked today. We have great prize for this, and we have Dom's Money Melody at 2:13. Get on board on the side question. And you're not going to hear that anywhere else, what I told you about Madeline Dean. This is just a prime example. Hector, lecture, constantly attack corporate America, Trump, tariffs. And then you and your husband benefited tremendously by tactics that I would say the American people, particularly with the disruption by Trump highlighting all this stuff, I don't think people support that when they hear that. She's never answered for this. And this was the Philadelphia Inquirer. Nice work. I remember it then and now by Joe DiStefano, raising these questions and saying, is it a conflict to profit from Chinese wages while she calls on American employers to raise theirs? Continuously, she did that. She is the ultimate hypocrite. The whole gang here, the practice squad, the Holy Hand, Mary Gay Scanlon, the Dean of Decency, they don't have Wild anymore. I don't know who will be there for it. The other blonde from Lehigh Valley, Ryan McKenzie, beat her. All right, big show today. Scott Jennings, 2 o'clock. Also, we'll talk at 2:30 with John Yoo. Get in now at 855-839-1210. Hit us with that all-time rivalry. Hit us with something that just is an epic showdown. Try not to dwell just on sports. I stick, you may have a sports one. That's fine. We know the big ones. Dallas Eagles. Not going to win with that. Give us something a little bit more outside the box. Give us that showdown. It's all in the call, as we say every day. That's where we'd want it to go. And again, the good news of the day to underline in the middle of all this, although the markets today, not bad, is this Swiss company now blowing up what they're doing in the country as far as manufacturing pharmaceuticals. That's the area. That gratifies me. We have to come out of this specifically to make America whole again when it comes to medicine. This would really put a hole in the Chinese leverage over us. 855-839-1210. You're with Dom here on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
You could not offer me a salary high enough to work for SEPTA.
That's a tough gig.
Is that worst job ever for you? I think worst job ever for me would be flight attendant. You can't throw them out, like you could if you were bartending or something.
$250,000 a year. You driving a SEPTA bus?
$250,000?
$250 a year.
How many days a week do I have to work?
You got to work 40 hours, Harry.
40?
Yeah,
no, that's too much.
Come on, let's go, Harry. What are we doing here, all right?
Get up, Harry! Come on, let's go!
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
When the stock market becomes too volatile, investors who try to get out are met with the same excuses from their broker. You're in it for the long haul. Stay the course. Don't sell now, you'll miss out on opportunity. But crash-proof consumers are not worried about market volatility.
Kathleen Rocket from Langhorne, PA. I've never liked the stock market, that it goes up and down, and seems to me it goes down more than it's up. With the crash-proof retirement system, we've gotten over 10% this year. The market can still go down, but I don't lose any of that money. And it's no fees charged to that. I benefit in the good times, and in the bad times, I'm not losing money. It's not too good to be true. We're living proof of it. It works.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Mendenhall Inn on April 22nd, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
The world is your jackpot at Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa during the $1 million Worldly Winnings drawing. Play and earn entries now through April for your chance at over $1 million in prizes, including 10 $25,000 dream vacation packages. Drawings every Saturday with grand prize drawings March 29th and April 26th. The world is your jackpot at Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa. $1 million Worldly Winnings only at Borgata. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you want a new opportunity with great pay, benefits, and a team that cares? Stockwell Elastomerics, a 106-year-old employee-owned company in Philadelphia, the city of winners, is hiring sales engineers and motivated manufacturing workers, skilled or eager to learn, day or night shifts. Their employee stock ownership program lets you become an owner, not just an employee. At Stockwell Elastomerics, you're not just joining a workplace, you're joining a family. Apply at stockwell.com. Stockwell Elastomerics, where careers are made and ownership is earned.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense against weather, so don't gamble with it. Hi, I'm Matt with Emmons Roofing and Siding, and at Emmons, we use only the best materials and expert craftsmanship to get your home protected. In fact, as an Owens Corning Platinum contractor, we can offer a lifetime warranty directly from Owens Corning on our workmanship. So whether your roof has storm damage, aging shingles, or it's just time for an upgrade, Emmons has you covered. Call us at 856-556-3229 or visit callemmons.com. From the main line to the shore, from top to bottom, inside and out, at Emmons, we have you covered.
See Joe Conklin's Comedy Show at St. Matt's on Fayette Street in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 26th, supporting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School baseball.
It was fun, 100% every time. It's spectacular.
Joe Conklin's awesome, hysterical.
Super funny. I love the horns. Oh my God.
Really, really enjoy it.
That's Joe Conklin's Comedy Show at St. Matt's on Fayette Street in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 26th, supporting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School baseball. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com! Calling on East Greenville to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it today.
All right, it is Dom time with you up until 3 today. Great guests coming in at 2 o'clock hour. We have a big prize, the $50 gift card on the side question today. We have Dom's Money Melody. There we have the tickets for the Giants game this coming Thursday. You heard the all-time showdown. That's what we're facing here with China and the United States. By the way, an interview with Scott Bessent, the guy that I've been touting, a poll out today indicates he is the most popular of the Trump people. Bessent. All right, I've been telling you this all along. I feel a lot better when Navarro and the other guy are on the sidelines and he's out there in front of things. But he gave an interview with Tucker Carlson. Now, I just started reading the full transcript, and he makes a point. Let's not mischaracterize this as redistribution of income. But he talks about moving away from the people who are not working class to the working class. Now, this is, tricky stuff. How do you do that? We all think we don't make enough things in America. You just heard me say, though, a Swiss company is coming in to make medical supplies, billions of dollars. That's exactly what I want to see. But the idea that we are going to shift income is tricky business, very tricky. You heard what I said about Madeline Dean. See her on CNN this morning. Amazing that she's able to just go about in the middle of this, being brought on, talk about China, tariffs, and the like. And she and her husband profited big time, way big time. Also, that we had coming up, and this is a great guest. Henry got him on before. Eitan Haim is the tricky name guest, but he's a great guest. He testified before Congress in the last day or so, I think it was yesterday, about what went on in the Texas hospital, huge hospital. Not sure if it's in Houston or not, because they sponsored the PGA Tour, and I had trouble watching the Houston Open last year because I thought it was a children's hospital. that did ghastly things to kids under the name of transgenderism. So he really got into it with Jamie Raskin, of course. And we'll let you, hear him at 12:30 pulling out some of the things that he was accused of. And the testimony was incredibly graphic of what happens to these kids, the failures of some of their bodily systems when you do this. So is he right? Or is the other side right, saying, no, this is actually giving them a life? We're going to look back on it. Well, we don't have to. But the consensus looking back on this, it won't be 50 years. It'll be 2 seconds. But 5 years from now is, oh, my God, how did we ever allow this? Well, if the parents want it, no, we don't allow kids to do just anything because the parent is a goofball or is under pressure. All right, so Dr. Haim is coming up to talk about that testimony, particularly with Jamie Raskin, blow by blow. Can you imagine impugning this guy? He's the whistleblower. He's the one that I think is spreading the message that needs to be heard. 855-839-1210, you get on board. You know, your smile is more than just a first impression. It's a reflection of your overall health. When it comes to your teeth, you deserve more than just a quick fix. You deserve the truly expert care you can get from my friend and dentist, Dr. Robert Bentz of the Bentz Dental Group. It's one thing to have the largest technology, latest, and he does have that. It's the knowledge. It's the care. It's the, I just saw Dr. Bentz the other day. He was talking about the challenge of some things and how that really inspires him. And that's what you get, the very best. I've told you about my experiences. I ran into somebody there who's gone to Dr. Bentz for years on my recommendation, and her whole family now. It is the very best, and you'll get that great smile you've always wanted to. Get on the road to great dental health. Call the Bentz Dental Group, 610-272-6949. That's the BentzDentalGroup.com, BENTZ, 610-272-6949.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
Hey, Daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
It's official. Newsmax has become a news giant. It's even listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Over 40 million Americans regularly turn to Newsmax for the news they need to know. They're tuning into the Newsmax channel on all major cable systems. They watch Newsmax 2 on all streaming platforms. They go online to newsmax.com for breaking headlines. Millions more have downloaded the free Newsmax app on their smartphone and home TV. Reuters says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. Tens of millions of Americans like you have made the switch to Newsmax for the news they can trust. So make the switch today. You won't ever look back.
Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel. Let's go mow. Weather sponsored by Natural Lawn of America.
A developing coastal storm system will keep the forecast unsettled heading into the weekend. Periods of rain today becoming steadier and heavier later this afternoon, high of around 48. Periods of rain tonight, possibly heavy at times with a low near 40. And for Saturday, clouds continue. It'll be chilly with a few lingering showers and a high 46.
Natural Lawn of America gives your lawn the natural care it deserves. With organic fertilizers and safer, eco-friendly weed and insect controls, Natural Lawn ensures your lawn thrives year after year. Act now and get free seeding every year. Time is running out. Call 800-FREE-SEED today.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, Dr. Hyam will hopefully talk with momentarily here. He does have cases, the Dom Giordano show, but this guy is in the center of this ongoing debate that Democrats will just not give it up. Instead of saluting a guy who exposed what happened in Texas, and I believe happens many places with these ghastly surgeries, Raskin and the others wanted to duke it out with him, hammer him. He must be stopped because he's an esteemed doctor speaking the truth about this, and the other side is still wedded to it. And they're going to be wedded to it, and they're going to lose again and again and again. America's not going to support this. They're not going to support boys and girls sports. The only thing they're going to tell us is, why are you talking about this? Don't you have anything else? Okay, then stop it. We'll stop talking about it. That's solved. All right, 855-839-1210. Hit us with that showdown. I gave you some. Henry, what's your number one today?
Warriors, come out to play.
Yeah, so that's a movie one I'm going to take off right off the rip. The Warriors versus seemingly every other gang in New York City as they were, wrongfully framed for killing a gang leader there. The sports one I'm going to take off, though. Tell me if you remember this one. They called it The Endless Match. It was the 2010 Wimbledon first round between American John Isner and Frenchman Nicolas Mahut. The game spanned 11 hours, 5 minutes, and it was played over 3 days, with the final score being 6-4, 3-6, 6-7, 7-6, those last two in tiebreakers. And then the fifth set, an incredible 70-68.
That's the thing. Well, with Eisner, too, with the serve and all, it's shocking to me one way or another that it went that long.
Oh, my gosh. Where was the number on the aces? It was the most aces in a match ever. It was over 100 aces in the match. So
either he would do that or hit it out twice, double fault. So,
right. So that one, I think, is an all-time showdown. I mean, I don't. And then you imagine going to have to play another round, the next day or day after. Oh my gosh, brutal,
exactly.
brutal.
Mentally on top of everything. So hit us with this showdown. Doesn't have to be sports. A couple people sent me Eagles, Cowboys. Two things. You're not going to win with that. Come on, a little bit outside the box. And two, I don't know with the Cowboys. Maybe it's developing a little bit that they say, oh, yeah, the Eagles are our rival, or, the showdown. We're facing the Eagles. It's got to be both sides. See this as epic, to me, to make it a major showdown. That both sides say, yep, this is it.
It's on site.
Yeah. And with China and the United States, it's obvious. This is supremacy for the next century. It could be beyond. That's what's at stake here. It's an obvious thing. Remember back in the day, the Olympics. I used to like the Olympics and watch because we were playing the Russians. That's what it was about to me. We knew they would cheat. I never would have stood for it as a basketball coach. What was it, the 72 Olympics, I want to say? I believe it was 72. They just robbed us. They just robbed us there. I would have gotten guys off the street to play against the Russians. They're not going to do what they did there. So that's a real showdown that we're talking about here. Hit us with something and it may be Hatfield and McCoy's. That's epic. I mean, they're killing each other for how many years? Think of one that is a little bit outside the box, maybe a local one, maybe one that, for years it went on. That's what we're looking for. All right, we'll go with Dr. Hyam whenever we get the shot here due to his, he's still a practicing surgeon.
Yeah, the man's a doctor.
Yeah, but when he came on before, it was riveting stuff. This is the guy that had to go through. He was almost ready to go. Well, he was going to jail. I think it was a day and a half to 2 days where they were going to have him in jail until Trump jumped in and pardoned him, or whatever the technical term was around this. And now, you're not doing that. That's how intense this whole thing is. Why? They're going to defend this stuff. They're crazed. They're still going to defend it. I did Inside Story today, thus the suit, and Josh Shapiro came up running against Stacey Garrity. And on paper, Josh Shapiro looks like he's tough to beat. I'm telling you, if the Women in Sports Act gets passed, it would, if it ever gets voted on in the House, Josh Shapiro is going to have to sign one way or another. And whichever way he goes with that is going to expose him for who he is. I think he would not sign it, playing to his left because he wants to run for president. And if he doesn't sign it, and we get into that debate, I think she can take him apart. So we got some big stuff going on here, right here in Pennsylvania, around issues like it's indefensible. Yet they're trying to defend it. All right. The other thing is I mentioned Madeline Dean and the Inquirer. Joe DiStefano, who listens from time to time, did a great job exposing this and asking legitimate questions. How does this woman get away with it? Her big mouth about corporate America, we're not paying enough. She and the husband making bikes in China. It just comes back to me. And I'm watching her on CNN today as if your constituents know you're a voice for unions and higher wages and the rest. Unless we can make bikes by people that are almost in slave labor. And the husband testified before Congress, well, you can't make bikes in America. So, I think we can go too far with this week to say we're going to return all these jobs to America. I don't know about that. But a good number of them. For example, late yesterday, Swiss company, because of the Trump tariffing or threatened tariff around medical supplies, suddenly plunks down $23 billion to build plants here. They're betting that drug imports in the United States will be a leading place to buy these medicines. Why? Because we're going to have a tariff on the Chinese medicines. Now, these are the specifics. Rather than just this vague stuff, are you with Trump or not Trump? This is a step forward to getting something done here that's really important. Our medical supplies. It's vital. There's several other industries that are vital too. Are we going to be the shoemaker? Are we going to be putting together iPhones here? I don't see it. If you can show me how that's feasible, okay, we'll go forward on that. You're really competing against something that's an automation, AI, and all that coming into play here. We'll see. I think they had to make a better case on some of this. But we can't just forfeit the whole deal here and just say that somehow or another we're going to give up on making things in America. Everybody's going to be doing code. That's what the Democrats said for years now. All right, let's go to Bill in Pottstown. And Bill, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Bill, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yo, Bill. Yes, Bill. Go ahead. What do you have?
I got Rocky versus the Russian boxer.
All right, tell me why that's an impressive one.
Because I've seen the movie a million flipping times, and the other thing is with what's going on with Russia, at the end of the movie, the way it showed the two countries against each other.
Okay, definitely. Yes, Drago bleeds is one of my all-time lines. Remember that when you're up against an opponent who appears to be that you can't do anything about this. Yeah, Drago did bleed. And at that moment, it was very, very different.
You will lose.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The bleeding is always stuck with me. I should go back and just watch that scene. All right, the president having a physical exam today, his 1-year physical. people saying they want to see the cognitive test results. How would you like to be to the guy administering Biden the cognitive test? Oh, they didn't do that. They didn't administer that, as far as we know. Why wouldn't they do it? I can't be doing that. What America should see, really, to show how corrupt this was, is the Hurd tape. Remember that guy, the U.S. attorney, who interviewed him because of the nonsense he did in his book that used sensitive material, and just said, the guy's nice enough, but that's it. He's just an old guy who doesn't know what he's doing. And he lapses into all kinds of things. That guy, he's just a plant. Okay, hopefully we'll hook up with Dr. Heim, as I said, coming up.
Are they going to lie about Trump's weight again?
Yeah, well, it does look like he lost some weight. You know, I don't, these doctors that are doing these people, it's a very sensitive thing. You don't want to say anything overly negative,
right?
But yes, but you got to be accurate. I mean, the first thing I do when you get in is say, look, if you're going to weigh me, I'm taking everything off.
Sure.
That's it. Yeah.
Go down to the undies. If
Then
that's what you need,
yeah,
know,
right.
to get is
Right.
Because I feel like that every time
Yeah.
I'm in the doctor's office, I'm wearing
Right.
something baggy because it's winter time.
Exactly.
It's like, I don't think I weigh that much.
Or I think a better strategy, my tip of the day, is don't do that and then start making outrageous demands of how many pounds they have to subtract.
Is the scale calibrated?
I usually start at 6 to 7. 7 if I'm really sensing a person's weak, and I'll take 7 off. That almost never happens. They'll settle for 4 maybe.
You're bartering for your weight?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes you feel better. You know, that 4 comes off there. All right, that kind of thing. So, but with Trump, I would say he's got to weigh 270.
At least, yeah, that's what he looks like.
Well, it looks like some has come off. Now, I don't know if that's Ozempic or not because he despises exercise. So I would set it at 270, and I stood next to him. I would say he's 6'2". I don't think 6'3". I could go for maybe 6'2.5", maybe. He's kind of slouchy at times, so if he stands up straight, he's at. So I'd set it at 6'2", 270, maybe. We'll see what the number is. Yeah, let me know when the numbers come out and the.
That's all everyone's going to be talking about.
But as far as anything that we've seen with him, to have the type of diet that he has and not have severe issues, it's just luck. I mean, you can't describe it in any other way. The
Good
fast
genes.
food, the fast food stuff, should, and the stress and the whole thing that nonstop. You would think that would be difficult, but apparently not. So Walter Reed, I'm not sure who the doc is that's doing this. I could just imagine it back and forth with Trump. Step on the scales. Are those scales made in China? That'd be I'm not getting on the scale made in China. Deduct 5 more pounds. Take 5 more pounds out. The Chinese cheat. They're making us appear to be fat. All right, speaking of which, YouTube alert coming up, youtube.com/1210WPHT. The Chinese have dropped another parody of American workers if we do jobs back here that they're doing. Remember yesterday we told you that. Now the Russians are ham-handed. The Chinese are more skillful. You'll be able to see their parody of these obese Americans trying to make small products. It is pretty well done. All the more reason to go after them, though, on every single front. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. Let's talk, though, first. Spring is here. Well, I'm looking outside. All right. Well, it's coming. It's coming. I can see it
April
coming around
showers.
the corner. That's right. Don't let stiffer, achy joints hold you back, but soon we'll be out there able to do everything. Rescue Natural Supplements is proud to bring you Rescue Glyco Plus. Now, this incredible supplement is specially formulated to support joint comfort and flexibility with a powerful blend of green-lipped muscle complex and UC2 collagen. This unique combination helps maintain healthy cartilage, promotes smoother, more comfortable joint movement. Right now, Rescue Glyco Plus is buy one, get one free for anyone with our exclusive radio code. The code is RELIEF. That's right. Use RELIEF to double up your order for free. RELIEF. Call them today at 800-26-LIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable rescue product consultant. You can also use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Get back into action with much less pain and more comfort. Just use that code RELIEF. Buy one, get one free on Rescue Glyco Plus. RELIEF.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
The Philadelphia Historic District has announced plans for 2026, 52 weeks of first celebration.
Let's schedule our 2026 June-July vacation right after the show today, Greg.
So you'll celebrate football, but not America.
I'll celebrate
Royalty
America.
fly.
I just won't do it in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
I'll watch it from a flat screen.
Yeah. Soccer will do it like on a boat in the Poconos
Thank
or
you.
something.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I'll go south and we'll all reconvene a couple weeks later.
Start your day with Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
When your AC loses its cool or your water heater loses its heat, it throws your whole day off. You can't think straight. You're like, what grade are my kids in? I'm not left-handed. There's only one cure. Hutchinson Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Heating will show up same day and get your AC or hot water back in shape with 100% satisfaction and no emergency service fees ever. Hutchinson will get you thinking straight until you forget your internet password again. Schedule now at hutchcomfort.com.
Yo, Philly, Landon Dickerson here. You showed up for us all season, and now we need your support again. Join me and the world champs on Saturday, May 17th for the Eagles Autism Challenge presented by Lincoln Financial. I look forward to this event every year, and all I gotta say is you won't want to miss it. Come bike, run, or walk with any of your favorite Eagles players. Let's work together to transform the lives of individuals affected by autism. Register today at eaglesautismchallenge.org. I'll see you there.
A message for qualified investors from Noble Gold Investments. If your portfolio is over $250,000 and you aren't hedged, you're sitting on a ticking time bomb. With markets at all-time highs, history tells us what comes next. A 10% allocation into gold and silver can help diversify. Experienced investors know that in times of economic uncertainty, real assets, not paper promises, offer true security. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy to add institutional-grade gold and silver to your portfolio, so you can hedge like the world's smartest investors. For nearly a decade, Noble Gold has helped thousands of Americans protect their future, turning numbers on a screen into real, tangible assets. And right now, when you make a qualified investment, Noble Gold will add a free 10th-ounce gold coin to your order. Disciplined investors protect what they've built. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com today. NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Yeah, that's the music. The Old West, 101, Doc Holliday, Johnny Ringo. Oh, Johnny Ringo!
John Ringo. Looks like someone just walked over your grave.
Yeah. Hey, that was even better, yeah. All right. 855, why are we talking about daylight savings again? President Trump already said that's a 50-50 issue, but apparently on Fox, something is developed around that. I think it's better than a 50-50 issue. President Trump must have put out on Truth Social, the House and Senate should push for more daylight. Very popular. Most importantly, no more changing of the clocks, a big inconvenience, and for our governor, a very costly event. All right, it's on. Are we going to get that done? You'll see. The reason these things don't get done, the hidden agenda, and some of them are Republicans in various red states even, that hold this up. I think it is popular. I don't think it is a 50-50 thing at all. Might be in the top 50s to 40, to something like that, but there's a percentage there. Okay, we're waiting on the doctor. 2 o'clock, we will talk with Scott Jennings, who is just the only reason to watch CNN ever. Love to see Scott Jennings with Madeline Dean, the head hypocrite here. And again, I have to praise the business guy over at the Inquirer, Joe DiStefano, and the Inquirer. They have reported on this. And yet she parades around attacking American businesses while at the same time having made her and her husband's fortune off these dealings in China. By the way, there's a lot to be looked at here, and this is where DOJ should come in. Around these people in Congress, we know about Pelosi, but I'm suspect of Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's this Republican in Pennsylvania who ran against all this insider trading, in quotes, of people in Congress making all this money. The statistics are unbelievable. That has made, since January, literally hundreds of trades. I mean, come on. This goes on and on and on. And again, Elon Musk, if we still see Droge in operation, has said he will definitely go after this. All right, let's go to Steve in Bordentown. And Steve, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Steve, welcome in.
How you doing, Dom?
Good, Steve.
I would like to say another thing also.
Sure.
About, all this stuff with trade in China and everything. I think it all started back with Clinton and NAFTA.
Yes, then a step
he
was.
signed all these things.
Yeah.
Right, because I've been listening to, I listened to you on WWDB and Irv Homer.
Right.
And Irv Homer was completely against it. It's the first time I ever wrote in to something. And my father said they're trying to lift up these other countries and push us down.
Well, that's it. China was
think it
said
all-
to be backward, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to lift them up. We have to bring them into the family of nations. And what they are is the enemy of the world. They have killed people through COVID.
I know. And they're just horrible. And another thing, why is the United States enamored with England, like so much with the kings and queens? Isn't that why our founding fathers came over here, because of them people? And now they're all in our news.
I don't think the average American, to your point, thinks Bonnie Prince King Charles is something we care about. I mean, why would we? Exactly.
Why would we is right, but they keep elevating these people, and now they're on our, and I hate when they talk and they say, the president's schedule. It's a schedule. They got all these, advertisement. It drives me nuts.
Might be a side question there with alternate pronunciation. So, Steve, here's your showdown. Tell me.
My showdown is the Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Oh, that's a great one.
When I was a kid growing up, I watched it every Saturday. That's when we could only watch cartoons.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love that show.
Thank you, Steve. The Roadrunner and Coyote. Even though we know, it might be a little bit imbalance of power there, we know where that can go. All right, we're waiting on the doctor, but we are going to have Scott Jennings and John Yu later in the show. We will have the Money Melody today for those Phillies tickets at about 2:13. And get your name into the hat, because the winner of the week, when we pull it out at around 2:50 or so, or a little bit later, gets a $50 gift card to Gallows Seafood and Harv's Burger Bar in Northeast Philadelphia. I mean, you know how I feel. Gallows, Jim Harvey, great stuff. They have hosted several times Seven Fishes, which I'm hoping to make a comeback with it this year. More details on that as we're not even into the summer yet. I'm working it up in my mind. All right, we'd love to hear from you, though. And again, this is a huge moment in time taking on China, without a doubt. Got a couple of local things, too, coming up in the next hour. 855-839-1210.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk about prices. At National Appliance Warehouse, we have billions in buying power that we leverage in order to pass dramatic savings to our customers. We're passionate about offering the lowest price, so we developed Price Assured to ensure we always are. Price Assured uses powerful technology to scan chain store prices online and make sure ours is lower. Because Price Assured is connected to electronic tags throughout the showroom, it's able to update them instantly if an adjustment is needed. Our customers enjoy great service that rivals that of a small independent. While shopping with confidence, they're seeing the lowest possible price.
Spring into savings now at National Appliance Warehouse. Upgrade your laundry for less with LG. Get a top-load washer and large capacity dryer from LG. Regularly $749 each for only $598.88 each. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Experience class.
I've got you.
Escape the ordinary.
Under my skin.
And let the music play.
But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop.
With Sid Mark and Frank Sinatra.
Because I've got you under my skin.
The legend continues. Sunday with Sinatra with Sid Mark. Sundays 11 till 1. Presented by the Crash Proof Retirement Show. Only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in. So CNN Town Hall, happened to see some of it last night. I thought, why are they doing this? Members of Congress going after each other. There were some good moments, though. The Democrat female from Connecticut, who I had not seen before, never shut up, and renounced. She had to renounce before the world her vote on Lake and Riley. Any reason they're at 21%? But Ryan McKenzie, who's been on my show and Dawn's and several here from Lehigh Valley, spoke something that's causing a big rift here. It's accurate. I guess you're not allowed to say it like the pronoun thing with Anderson Cooper the other night. Here's Representative Ryan McKenzie from Lehigh Valley, just beat Susan Wild, talking about disease and illegal immigration. Is this out of line? I don't see how. It's accurate. Here's what he said.
Verified cases of measles, probably many, many more in actuality, linked to this outbreak that began in Texas. And 2 children have died. And measles, it was ended in the United States 25 years ago, but now it's back and it's killing kids. There are a lot of public health officials, regardless of party, who have serious concerns about Secretary Kennedy. Do you?
Well, let me say this. So as a father of a 1-year-old who is going through his vaccine regimen right now, that's something that I'm choosing for my son. We are getting him vaccinated just like I was vaccinated. In the case of the measles vaccine, that's something that's been long established. And I think we have a fairly good track record of evidence to prove that that is safe and effective. So I would encourage others, if that is their choice, to actually go out and do that. But we do have a couple other things that we need to address. First of all, many of these instances that are coming into our country are from illegal immigrants who have crossed the border with no checks, no actual health records, and they are bringing these diseases into our country. There is a reason why measles has started to spread in our country after decades of being almost eradicated, as you pointed out. And so I think we need to recognize that point. The second thing is, when we talk about Americans' health, I think we should be talking about holistically the health that is going on in this country. We have some of the worst health outcomes, but yet we pay some of the highest prices for health care. And so what we need to do is we actually need to talk about what people are ingesting in their bodies. That Make America Healthy Again movement is something that is very real. And I think people should be talking about the type of food and the type of water that they're drinking to make sure it's safe and healthy for everybody.
All right. I think those were spot on, particularly illegal immigration coming across the border, no controls, measles, even cases of things that we have not, a lot of TB, that there's been outbreaks of that. Why is it out of bounds to point that out? Well, now you're really stirring things up. Now, on this front, and I expect some call, just listen to what I'm saying before you get wound up. All right, yesterday during the meeting, the cabinet meeting, by the way, Bessent is the most popular of the Trump members of the cabinet in polling out today, and I'm glad about that. I've told you about this guy, and when he got in here with all the market stuff, I think things have been better. I think his advice is much better. But RFK Jr. said, we are going to, by September, not only know the root cause of the amount of autism that we see, but we're going to be able to take care of it by then in some way, shape, or form. I didn't think he used the word eradicate. Okay, I'm on board with going down this path again. All right, let's once and for all, the people that he wants to study it, will we then say, we've looked at this? And what I think you're going to find is what I've been saying, by and large. Now, if there's some other element out there to a degree, fine. Let's see it. Let's have a panel of people put into this that may have conflicting opinions on this. Let's see full scientific inquiry on this. This is a matter that we have to resolve once and for all. But what I think you're going to see is we have become better at detecting autism, the spectrum. We put more people on it, from mild to severe. And that's got to be one of the biggest reasons why we see these numbers. And again, I know we'll get into the vaccine debate with it. Okay, let's see. Let's do it. So this is going to be bold. There's going to be a lot of stuff here. I just want to see who he picks, how they do it. Let's turn over every rock here. to get to the bottom of this. But I still think it's going to come back to people are not going to want to hear what I said or other environmental factors that are out there. What could they be? It's going to focus on the vaccine. Let's see. Let's see what else he's able to unearth here. But his words, by September, we're going to know, due to the testing, due to what they're running down. I don't know why we don't know now. If there's something out there, it's been studied quite a bit. And the theory I've always seen with this, the main thing is we have autism along the spectrum here. Should we be less inclusive then? Should we have some metric? Should we redefine autism so that it cuts down on the numbers? I'm fine with it as it is now. I think it's kind of helpful. But this is a big moment here. Now, I think, as you know, his lane is the food lane. That's where we ought to be. That's where we ought to see action. That's where we ought to put a lot of stuff. But okay. At the meeting yesterday, he said that's next item on the agenda by September. Fine. That's a good period of time. It's worth the money to devote to that. Let's see scientifically what we haven't seen before. I mean, are you in the camp that hopes that this is going to say the hot thing, which is it's the vaccines? Or are you in the camp that says, look, there may be something else out there, and it seems to me we would have hit it by now, but a large cause of this is how inclusive we are when it comes to people that are autistic. Now, anytime this comes up, I ask, and we've had some great calls from parents. One thing that I hope in this study, is it a good idea to be this inclusive on autism? We have the spectrum now. In other words, labeling that someone autistic, does it help because they get help, or is it something that kind of marginalizes? You know, people hear autism and they think of, I mean, I've seen it. I ran a summer camp. I had kids, two of them that were labeled autistic. One was very severe. It was another reality almost. And the other was just on the spectrum. I think Elon Musk has talked about that himself. I think Gates has. I mean, there's a lot of people who are spectacularly successful that have reported they're on the spectrum, or they think they are, something like that, because they have a different way of looking at the world. So does that help? Have we gone overboard? Too much labeling. And that's why you see these number of cases. I mean, I would stake anything on this theory that that's a lion's share of this whole thing. All right, 855-839-1210. So let them study it. That's good. Okay. I think the area of concentration, though, with RFK Jr., I want to see where there's something very doable, and he started to get some success, are the foods. And legit, a comparison with this, as far as all the red dyes, all the things we've talked about, that is the way to go. And that's an area here that he's going to make his mark. All right, side question today, the big showdown. Hit us with that. U.S., China. We have some great ones I see, a whole bunch of them on Twitter. We'll get another White House brief this hour, an update on the tariff situation. The big thing now, they're trying to tell us that, look, you're not going to be able to make these deals with these friendly countries that quick. I don't see why not. I realize it's kind of complicated. But here's my read. I think that Trump is guiding him, and Besant wants to do that. Look, we're not going to get down with these friendly countries, Australia, the UK, whatever they might be, into the most minute things and try to haggle that out for a year. We don't have time for that. We need to get something done with them now. They're in agreement. They got stunned by this. They don't want to be stunned. We got some leverage, reciprocal tariffs, some of the other things that might be there that are stumbling blocks. Let's get what we can, and I rely on the judgment of Besant and the president on that, and move on. Let's get them up on the board. That's not where the battle is. So even if they're not perfect, even if we didn't get everything we want here, this will resolve 401ks and stock markets and all. And then we could put all of our energies against China. That's what the bottom line is ultimately. What does China have on their side? What are some of the points that they have as far as being able to win in this? I don't think they can win because we still have the economy they want. But are they willing to inflict enough damage here that we might relent sooner rather than later? The most encouraging thing, the thing that I hate out of all this are all the vague things here. I want to hear specifics, and I think you do too. Biggest specific I saw today, $23 billion, Swiss company. They're now willing to invest in making medicines in about 5 or 6 factories. It's 1,000 jobs. But more importantly, that will be here in the United States. We got to get control of things. It's not just about revenge with China and how I hold them accountable for everything evil in the world. It's about getting control over our national health and security, taking it away from them. And I want to see more of this. I'm not sure why we haven't, but $23 billion, Swiss company doing this, putting factories in, that's a start. This ought to be the first thing. Who could be against that? Making our medicines there, taking it away from China. That's a big specific. Versus vaguely talking about making tchotchkes here again in America. It's medicines. And it's other natural defense things that we ought to be looking at and focusing and putting all of our energies toward it. All right, the Dow is up a point, which is hard to figure again after yesterday, but it's good. All right, let's see. Let's go to Scott in Lansdale on Talk Radio 1210. Dr. Scott. Hello, Scott. Welcome in.
Hey, Dom. We've met before.
Yeah, Scott. Sure.
I'm a physician.
Yes.
I'm a physician, and 20 years ago, I ran the science research libraries at Merck Research Labs in West Point and Rahway.
Okay.
And one of my library's best customers was Maurice Hilleman, the kind of grandfather of vaccines. He invented 40 or so vaccines and was the world's most prominent vaccinologist until he died in 2005. I asked him in one of his visits to my office seeking articles to write his vaccine review papers. I asked him, what is this about this talk that vaccines cause autism? And I can tell you his exact response. His exact response was, that's BS. That's BS, although he used the actual word. He was known for his colorful language. So I just wanted to say he was the world's most prominent vaccine scientist to that day, Maurice Hilleman. You can look him up. And that was what he told me. He said, nope, that's BS.
Well, yeah, what's going to happen here? He would be discounted by some people listening, Scott, even though what you said, that's the gold seal, that he's in on it. Some people want to hear this. It reaffirms what they've always believed. And to me, I'm all in favor of studying this. Isn't it obvious we've included more people that we now call autistic in the 60s, maybe even the 70s? We wouldn't have labeled them autistic.
Well, in fact, my field is medical informatics, which is strongly involved in kind of categorizing medical terminology. There's about 2 million medical terms, and definitions are critically important in medicine. And when you change definitions, even slightly, it can have big impacts on analysis of data. I agree we need to do new scientific studies on the issues, but we need to make sure, as in any clinical trials, that we have our definitions defined in a way that won't color the results.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, Scott, thank you. As this continues, we'll always call on you. Thanks for calling in today, Dr. Scott. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, Scott in Lansdale. Yeah, we met him at Andy's Diner several times. 855-839-1210. It seems to me a pretty good bet that a lot of this is we have, including more people in it for any number of reasons that are there. All right, the White House briefing now on China, the continuing tariff situation. And again, I think they're savvy to this. You're going to see deals sooner rather than later with Japan and South Korea and others. And some people will be critical. We didn't get this. We didn't get that. It's about getting some degree of reciprocity on the tariffs particularly, moving forward so we can take on the enemy. unbridled attention. I mean, this is wartime footing with China. Now, it's going to be hard to do that because, Dom, we didn't trade with Hitler in World War II in this manner. We didn't do it with the Russians. Yeah, it's a weird thing that we've gotten into, but we're here now. None of that matters. Here's where we are. They are the enemy. And this may be the last gasp that we have a big chance to move out of their zone. If we don't take it now, what president in the future would do it? And the answer is none. This is a rare presidency. All right, we're also looking to see the height and weight of the president from today's physical exam, the yearly exam, I think at Walter Reed, what they will tell us. And if you have a tip or two how to have them put down a lesser weight and more height. Yeah, I fight on the height too, of course. I don't know if you're thinking, stop pushing my head down with it. Come on. You know, I don't
get the hair down. The hair gives you an extra half inch.
Yeah, I think I may have said once, well, you know, you don't walk around in bare feet. We walk around in shoes. That's our real height. Think about it. We do.
Wouldn't your real height technically just end at your eyes? Like in all the forehead and the hair?
Oh, you don't want to take that in even. Man, we have a whole new standard here. Then.
Yeah.
That's.
You're not using the top of your head for anything unless you're like, I don't know, putting in a header in soccer.
Yeah, I don't want ultimate height. I think being over 6'3", I don't want that. That's enough. But somewhere in that happy zone. Yeah.
Oh, no, I want to be like 6'8", 6'10".
Okay, then, yeah, you've been playing the NBA for a while, cup of coffee, then be freakish the rest of your life. Sorry, Dan, I didn't say that. Did you want to walk around at 6'8"? I don't know. It's a little too much.
Absolutely.
How many 6'8" people do we have listening to the show? Maybe 4 or 5?
I bet there's a good amount.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a 7-footer listening or a 6'6" woman. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. Hit us with that all-time showdown. Oh, I love it. Jay in Fort Myers, a great one. Stay there, Jay. Yeah, he's outside the box a little bit with this. This is good stuff.
I love that one.
Yeah, hey, absolutely. 855-839-1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Whether you're here in Philadelphia or if you grew up a New Yorker like Sean Farish, if Larry Krasner or Alvin Bragg really wanted to clean up the streets of their respective municipalities, jurisdictions that they are the district attorneys of, get subways and public transportation cleaned up, they could do all of this if they really wanted to. They have it in the budget. They're just on an agenda and a vendetta to empower the criminals.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts? At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Get your tickets now for Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Matt's on Fayette Street in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 26th, supporting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School baseball.
It was fun. Hysterical.
Super funny. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
President Trump is making New Jersey safer, securing the border and deporting dangerous criminals. And he's getting no help from Phil Murphy and Trenton Democrats. I'm Jack Chittarelli. That all changes when I'm governor. On day one, we'll end Murphy's sanctuary state and ban sanctuary cities. We'll work with ICE and take the handcuffs off our police to keep our communities safe. It's time Trenton Democrats realize we need to protect our communities. When I'm governor, we will.
Paid for by Chittarelli for Governor Inc., 99 Gray Rock Road, Suite 202, Clinton, New Jersey.
Your kitchens and bathrooms should be a retreat.
Spaces that are as beautiful as they are functional. At Emmons, we customize every detail to fit your style, needs, and budget. From sleek modern updates to timeless classics, we make your dream kitchen or bathroom a reality and offer free interior design services. Call us today at 856-556-3229 or go to callemmons.com and let the Emmons team start designing your perfect space. From the main line to the shore, from top to bottom, inside and out, at Emmons, we have you covered.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-222-9599. 800-222-9599. Again, that's 800-222-9599.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, Dom Giordano Show, 855-839-1210. You get on board. So Mark Kelly, they consider him a VP candidate, I guess, the astronaut, senator from Arizona, is caught up today. He's got a big gas guzzler. He likes the big cars. He gave up on the electric vehicle. He had Tesla. And his excuse? Well, it's union made. Oh, let's play this out now. I thought the reason for the electric vehicle was the environment, climate. That's what you had to do. So now if it's union made, though, and it's a guzzler, that's okay. And that was where Biden used to get misty-eyed about electric vehicles, because he wanted that in order to say, I am an environmental champion, and yet the unions are the ones making them. You can't double play right there. But Mark Kelly couldn't find, apparently, an electric vehicle to his liking as much as he liked the Tesla vehicle, but can't buy it because of Elon Musk. Now his excuse is, well, it's union made. Oh, I'll tell that to the environment. I'll tell that to the scientists. Get the hell out of here. This is union made. We can do whatever we want. We're the union. It just underlines the whole thing with Elon Musk and how things have changed. And they'll say anything. The hypocrisy is writ large. But this is a guy who's not supposed to be hypocritical. He's a guy that's often touted as the civility, the voice of reason. He can't find a car, though, that's electric. So he's got one that's union made. What's the difference? Think about that. All along, has it been about that, or it hasn't been about virtue signaling? And now the virtue signal with him is, well, it's a union. I'm with the union. Yeah, but you're damaging the environment. Nope, the union's pollution does not damage the environment. That's the non-union pollution that does it. If you work in a union, you're not damaging anything. You're good for the environment. All right, 855-839-1210. We got the JFK promise, Jr. yesterday promise. And I never played, speaking of China, this is cut 12, youtube.com/1210WPHT. Here's the latest Chinese parody. And I have to admit, whether it's AI or they got an American coaching them, their parodies of Americans are a lot better than the Russians. They were brutal. So this is their latest YouTube parody, where you have these morbidly obese Americans on assembly lines, barely able to stand up. That's what it's going to be if they continue to challenge China. Yeah, you don't have to worry if you have no money because you're making American products there. That's what the Chinese are saying. Yeah. So, again, this is a long time coming. Their parodies are not bad, considering everything. These are not easy to do. But Mark Kelly, you got to do better. It's union made. How many times do I have to tell you that? We don't have to care about it being electric. Just buy a car that's union made, and that's all that you have to say. All right, let's go to Jay in Fort Myers. Great side question today. All-time showdowns. Give us a big one here. Jay is in Fort Myers. Hey, Jay, how's the weather in Fort Myers today?
It's spectacular. In the low 80s, no humidity, and a mild breeze with a beautiful blue and white sky.
All right, that's it, buddy. You're out. Stop it already. Come on.
But I'm on my way back home to Philly, so
Okay.
I'm coming back to reality.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys have been like making me chuckle for the last 10 minutes with the union pollution versus non-union pollution. I mean,
Isn't amazing?
That was classic.
And look, he is one of the better Democrats, as far as I can tell on paper, Jay. You know, he's not the most objectionable. He thinks he can get away with saying it's union. That's all. It's union car.
Yeah, you hit it on the head with the virtue signaling piece. And Dan, I don't agree with you taking off height at the eyes.
Oh, that's
because at my
Henry.
age,
Yeah.
with my receding hairline, I'm gonna lose 6 inches. Now, I don't
Well,
want that.
here's my advice on that to feel better about it. The toupee wearing has got to be tough, but get a toupee when you go to the doctor and they're checking your height. Just for that, then you can take it off after. Every inch counts.
Or comb your hair down in the bangs. Okay,
You know
one of
what?
the two.
That's good. That's good. I
Only
like to
gel it
buff
up into a mohawk
I
at
have
this
it
point.
gelled up to like 6 inches high. I might come out of here 6'5" one of these days.
I like the mohawk idea. That works.
Yeah.
That
All
works.
right, what's your showdown, Jay?
My ultimate showdown is paper or plastic.
Very good. Yes, excellent. All right, that's a great one, Jay. Safe travels back. Thank you very much for listening there. Paper versus plastic. Okay.
Plastic's winning, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
People hate the paper products.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're not even doing that. You can't do any of that anymore.
They don't even give you bags at the supermarket.
Yeah,
Bring your
well,
own.
one of the best gifts we've ever gotten, knock on wood. I mean, I am so particular about this with Roe. We have these, I have to put up a picture of it, that Luke bought us. They are really heavy-duty shopping, put your goods in when you're coming back.
Yeah.
And Roe, we lost one of them, so we only have 4. Went wild last week. What would you say for a family of 2 and Freddie the cat? Luke doesn't live at home anymore. Would be an abnormal shopping thing at the Giant.
An
for a week.
abnormal?
Yeah, we shop every week. What would be out of line? That's it. Too much.
I don't know. Maybe anything family sized?
No, I meant total for the week.
Oh, like
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
2 people? I don't
Yeah.
know. 250? Nothing higher than that?
That's not bad. I could start to settle for that. 313.
Ooh.
So that's one faux pas. But we have these things, and they're precious to me. I don't know where I'd get, I'm very particular about them. Stuffing, more stuff into one because she bought so much stuff. And they usually fit in 3.5.
Mhm.
So, she had to carry them to the car. That's all. I'm not paying for any more bags. Don't buy so much. But stuffing them into this one bag.
Yeah.
If I just saw the slightest break in that bag, I'd go nuts.
Really?
Oh, they're that good.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
I'll bring one in. I have them in the car.
Well, if they're that good, they won't break.
Yeah, but you can't stuff like 50 pounds of things because you're mad that you overbought here.
Yeah.
313. That's the all-time high.
Oh,
And I can't even. Well, I can't blame Biden anymore either. All right, so that's a problem. 855-839-1210. 2 o'clock, we'll talk with Scott Jennings, see what he thinks around the latest. Jennings has just been on fire. And local favorite, now nationally famous attorney John Yoo, about all these court decisions, like the one telling the Trump administration they have to try to get the guy back from El Salvador. Is that really putting something on Trump? Or is that a bit of an overstatement? And I ask him about Amy Coney Barrett, which is a real problem. What do you do with her now? cannot miss. I mean, if I were picking somebody for the Supreme Court, I would tell you the lengths I'm going to go to. You know, I'm not missing. I don't care how I have to err on the side of anything. I'm getting somebody on there that's not going to do what Amy Coney Barrett is doing. John Roberts, another miss, a big miss. They didn't miss with Clarence Thomas. They certainly didn't miss with Sammy Alito. Think about it. They tried to miss with Sam Alito. They wanted to put a Dallas real estate attorney friend of the president on it. Real estate attorney, and you got Sammy Alito on the bench. They didn't miss with Gorsuch. I don't think they missed with Kavanaugh, but they missed with Amy Coney Barrett. This is a real problem. Several levels. She's young, too. So, you know, will Trump get another shot? Potentially. Potentially there could be another shot here. 855-839-1210. You get a line. Yeah, paper versus plastic. That's a pretty good one. All right? We're looking for a showdown here, a moment of truth. Henry, what was your main one again? So I can read.
Warriors.
Oh, that's right.
And then the Isner Mahout 11-hour match.
Yes. All right. And mine was Pepsi and Coke, at least back in the day. I would say Edison Tesla has developed into something. Hamilton Burr and Capone and Ness was a pretty good one. It's the stuff of Untouchables and everything else. All right, 855-839-1210. Let me tell you, though, that you will not have to worry about paper, plastic. We're putting that all aside as we head to the fabulous island of Sicily. You just don't visit Sicily. You'll want to come back again and again and again. This is the third time that we're visiting Italy, and this is the most exotic because Sicily is the unparalleled beauty of the Mediterranean and Italy, and Calabria as part of this fall. Of course, we're taking conservative tours. They take care of everything. All this spectacular stuff I've been telling you about, and doing it with Talk Radio 1210 listeners. $55.44, including airfare. The dining events we enjoy, legendary, the wine, and the locales, the local places that they know. These are not the tourist traps. I mean, this is authentic. That's where they go. Bustling Palermo, the Quattrocante, stunning Montreal, the Palace of the Normans. Just call 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com, the Godfather part of the tour. Visit the locales from all the films. We'll visit the crown jewel of Sicily, Taormina. We'll see you at Mount Etna, the Valley of the Temples. This is Sicily, ancient, charming, picturesque, a country within a country. Of course, Savoca's on the list. Call them now. Get all the details. 888-733-9494.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
You could not offer me a salary high enough to work for SEPTA.
That's a tough gig.
Is that worst job ever for you? I think worst job ever for me would be flight attendant. You can't throw them out, like you could if you were bartending or something.
$250,000 a year. You driving a SEPTA bus?
$250,000?
$250 a year.
How many days a week do I have to work?
You got to work 40 hours, Harry.
40?
Yeah,
no, that's too much.
Yeah, I mean, come on, let's go, Harry. What are we doing here, all right?
Get up, Harry. Come on, let's go.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning.
Has your furnace or AC been on the fritz for years and you've been putting a Band-Aid on it? Well, stop procrastinating. Right now, there are amazing rebates and tax credits available. Enjoy up to $2,600 in federal tax credits, $1,400 in manufacturer's rebates, and up to $950 from PECO. As they say, now's the time. Don't procrastinate. Contact us at Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Go to marvinekanze.com.
It's Nick Cale here to introduce the all-new 2025 ADX, Piazza Acura's latest addition to their precision-crafted lineup. This premium compact SUV is a breakthrough in design, performance, and innovation with a turbocharged engine, available all-wheel drive system, and cutting-edge technology. The Acura ADX is engineered for those who demand more. Best of all, it's now available at Piazza Acura of Ardmore, Reading, and Westchester with leases as low as $389 per month. Visit piazzaacura.com for details.
This is Larry Steinhaus, and did you know that I buy houses in any condition? That's right, I buy hoarder houses, I buy trashed houses, I buy burnt-out houses, or even houses with bad tenants. If you are a tired landlord, or you inherited a property, or you just have a property you don't want, give me a call at 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the phone and make you a full-price offer. That's 855-939-1137. Don't suffer with that property anymore.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Stop buying gold online. Edelman's Coins is the Philadelphia area's largest buyer and seller of gold and silver bullion. Family owned for 99 years, Edelman's Coins has continued to provide ultra-competitive pricing paired with unparalleled customer service. With transparent buy-sell spreads, you know you will always get a fair deal. When buying or selling bullion or coins, think Edelman's Coins. Call 215-572-6480 or visit edelmanscoins.com.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Tom Giordano Show. Welcome in, everyone. So DJ does a lot of the hit me with all the breaking news stuff throughout the show that he sees, and he's spectacular at doing that. But try to get in on the side question today, Henry, and he said a showdown, peanut butter versus jelly. I don't think that's a showdown. It's peanut butter and jelly. Is there a showdown there?
It's a bit of a harmony.
Yeah, but I mean, where's the showdown, though? They're supposed to be against each other. It's a harmony more than one versus the other.
Yeah, I feel like it's not. Yeah, it's more of a harmony because I feel like a showdown would be more like peanut butter and jelly versus like peanut butter and fluff or peanut butter and banana. You know what I'm saying?
Something like that.
Variation.
Yeah, some variation. All right, DJ, work harder on that one. All right, CNN, big poll just released too. And this is a big upside for Republicans. And there's kind of a virtual tie in their polling about who is it that cares about the average person in America more. They don't say Trump. They say Republicans versus Democrats, and it's a virtual tie. Now, whoever you think does, and we know who really does, but okay. Usually Democrats win that by at least double figures. That's what they play on. That's the brand of the party. Even though it's fraudulent for how many years, that's what they play on. So what it tells me is Trump and what he's promoting here, as far as all this stuff back to America, is working at least on one front. And we'll see if that continues. Or will there be blame if suddenly cheaper goods are not so cheap and everything else that we'll see play out of this? That's why urgency on this is a big part of success. And that means getting the deals done with these other countries to take some of the pressure off. And then to go after China. I think Americans get it. They want them to go after China. They also want Trump to go after people in both parties. Mitch McConnell is one we haven't talked about enough, that have not cared and or were blatant in undercutting American jobs. We'll see. We'll see if that has traction. 855-839-1210. Now, it is driving nuts. People like Karl Rove, who can't understand it. They're completely insiders on the other side. The Bushies, they were part of it too. My only gripe has been the bit of scattershot with it. That was due to Navarro and Lutnick being out there. When Bessent is out there, You just hear a different tone, a different articulation, a different message, and more strategically what they're planning to do. That's what I was asking for, and I'm getting it now. All right, I wanted to say this before I get out of here today, though, so I don't forget. It's come out now. New report has detailed some of President Trump's plans to acquire Greenland, including a potential $10,000 annual payment, not one-time payment, to each of the island's more than 50,000 residents. Now, I haven't crunched that and looked at it with people, but the strategic value of Greenland, particularly with the communist Chinese, not just with the Russians, is enormous. And this would be the first time. What's the last thing that America subsumed? You know, what's the last big thing? Alaska? No, that's quite a while ago. What is it that America, Guam? I think they're in Spanish-American Wars or something. Panama Canal we built. Henry, you look like you have one.
I was going to say like Puerto Rico, but
I think that's quite a while ago.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think that's Spanish-American War. That's what it would strike me as, Teddy Roosevelt and all that. But that might be the most recent, Puerto Rico, which is a headache. They don't want to be a state, yet they don't want to be independent either. They want handouts, but they don't want to conform to anything. So I wouldn't lose sleep if Puerto Rico is no longer a, Commonwealth or whatever we call it. Yeah, what's the date on that? Like 1915 or something?
Well, I'm looking at it right now. The latest purchase was the, let's see, am I saying that? Yeah. As of 2021, in the Mariana Islands, the Caroline Islands, and the Marshall Islands were the most recent purchases, and that was back in 1947.
Yeah, post-World War II, we gave them something. So here's the deal. They have about 50,000 people. They get 10,000 each. What is that, about 50 million a year? No. Is it more? Is it a billions? That seems reasonable to me. I mean, that's dirt cheap in today's economy that we'd get Greenland. I think Trump is hell-bent to do it. He means it. He's fooling around with Canada. He's hell-bent on the Panama Canal, too. On Canada, he's fooling around. But Greenland, now there does seem to be, out of those 10,000, who knows, but a number of people who don't like this idea. They don't like Denmark, but they don't want to be taken over by the United States. I'd set the over and under at maybe 10% chance that this happens. But that's better than nothing, which it was.
I'd go even lower.
You think even lower?
Well, I just think the bigger issue with it is not so much the money or anything like that. It's that you have to defend it as well.
Oh, we already have forces there.
Yeah, well, we have forces everywhere. I just think you'd also have to expend more just to do it, because I feel like it's just a, I don't know, like an invitation, like, please attack us, please.
Well, but you realize, too, they have raw minerals that are unbelievable.
I know.
Yeah, and they're just not good at extracting.
But how much of that can you get set up in the next, in this presidency, because it only takes like one, Democrat to come in next and be like, no new fossil fuels, no drilling in Greenland, see ya.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, extracting. Well, after we paid all that and continue to pay it, that might be a hard thing to do, though. It might be pretty tough. That's a fair amount of money, though. That's part of the plan, and they get it every year. I think they could capitulate. Could they get 5,001 out of the 10,000? Is that the way it works? All right, it's bold. We're going to be accused of being imperialist, colonialist, and all that. I get it, because it's been quite a while, as we just said, since we did anything like that. And I guess the last was making Hawaii a state after Alaska. That's fairly recent. Those days are pretty much gone, that we've acquired or brought into statehood anything. It would be bold. I think it's closer than you think, though, as far as trying to do it, that it's a possibility. Okay, you get in at 855-839-1210. Coming to your calls. The bottom line here is get a car that's a giant gas guzzler, slap Union Made on it, have a union guy drive, put a union hard hat on as you're driving along. People won't say anything to you. Hey, you're polluting the environment. But you drive a Tesla, which does not, and you're a Nazi. Who knew? Mark Kelly, thank you. We just have to go around and say, Union Made, don't bother me. 855-839-1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10.
The Philadelphia Historic District has announced plans for 2026, 52 weeks of first celebration.
Let's schedule our 2026 June-July vacation right after the show today, Greg.
So you'll celebrate football, but not America.
I'll celebrate
Loyalty
America.
fly.
I just won't do it in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
I'll watch it from a flat screen.
Yeah. Soccer will do it like on a boat in the Poconos
Thank
or
you.
something.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I'll go south and we'll all reconvene a couple weeks later.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Are you looking for a lawn care service that delivers great results and is safer for your family and pets? Choose Natural Lawn of America. At Natural Lawn, they don't believe in using harsh chemicals. Instead, they use environmentally friendly products to grow lush green lawns naturally. With organic fertilizers to savor weed and insect controls, your lawn thrives season after season without compromising safety. Homeowners everywhere are making the switch to Natural Lawn's proven eco-friendly approach and loving the results. Now's the time to start. Schedule Natural Lawn's full-service program today and get free seeding every year. For a greener, healthier lawn plus free seeding, call 800-FREE-SEED. Call 800-FREESEED now. Your lawn and family deserve the best, so call the best. Choose the locally owned and family-operated Natural Lawn of America. Greener grass, fewer weeds, guaranteed.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
It's official. Newsmax has become a news giant. It's even listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Over 40 million Americans regularly turn to Newsmax for the news they need to know. They're tuning into the Newsmax channel on all major cable systems. They watch Newsmax 2 on all streaming platforms. They go online to newsmax.com for breaking headlines. Millions more have downloaded the free Newsmax app on their smartphone and home TV. Reuters says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. Tens of millions of Americans like you have made the switch to Newsmax for the news they can trust. So make the switch today. You won't ever look back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Free speech lives here.
The Dom Giordano program.
On Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Okay, coming to your calls. It is Dom time. Just saw this. I've been talking about it early today. The SAVE Act that Republicans voted on, just proof of citizenship, and there's a myriad of ways to do it, to vote, right? Democrats voted against it. Chrissy the Houlihan is never really been a moderate. She's a fake, but she's stepping out even more. She just tweeted out, it's not the Republican SAVE Act. It's already illegal for non-citizens to vote. This proof of citizenship bill will force troops stationed overseas to return home to vote. Oh, my God. Stop it. And it makes it nearly impossible for women who have changed their last name to cast a ballot, including nearly 160,000 in PA 06, Chester County. This bill is pure theater. I voted against it. Let them eat cake. Let illegals vote. Hey, Chrissy in Mushroom Country, how much water do you carry for illegal immigration out there in Chester County? A hell of a lot. Those mushrooms must be worth it. You imagine women won't be able to vote. How about helping people with this cockamamie real ID, Chrissy, rather than attacking Republicans on this because we don't want illegals to vote? How about demanding they open up more time? How about demanding they stop it with the picayune hurdles that are here to getting people that real ID if that's what they want? I've told you all week if you missed it, and we had on Stacey Garrity yesterday who said the best thing, if you're not going to fly between now and May 7th, wait till the line simmer down or get a passport. All right, let's go to, Let's go to Steve in Haddon Township on Talk Radio 1210. Steve, thank you for the wait. What do you have today?
I have my two opposing entities are two fan bases and two worlds. One is Star Trek. The other is Star Wars. Star Trek is very sort of collectivist, socialist, utopian. It has a very rosy sort of like woke idea about the universe. Star Wars is more real politic. You have this collective of different people and smugglers, all this stuff, trying to fight off this empire that's trying to centralize control. So the fan base is like in Star Trek. My experience is they're basically all Democrats.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Star
I'm a
Wars
fan of Star Trek. It's because of William
No.
Shatner.
You need to re-examine that, Dudesky. And Star Wars, on the other hand, you're going to have an equal breakdown of conservatives and liberals. And the Gen Z fanboys, they sank most of these, like the Acolyte and stuff. They're responsible for sinking those because they didn't want anybody to mess with this, what is essentially like a medieval young knight going on a quest just with spaceships, which is what Star Wars originally was. So, I think that they are diametrically opposed.
I will think of Star. Look, there was a lot of that, but the various entities that they fought. I'm trying to remember
even the Klingons, formed the one world government, which is insane because you would think that they would be the most individualistic of them all, but they're like, oh yeah, let's just have a one world government. But look at what Gene Roddenberry's vision is. It's basically, we're going to come together, and we're not going to be United States and China. We'll just be human, which is not real.
Well, I have to reread that. That is an excellent one, though. But my William Shatner, I got to tell you, I've had William Shatner on 5 times. He's the most unbelievable guest. And it was the newest thing. So I say, I got to think about that, though. A lot of them were toward we're all going to get along here. That's true. All right, let's try Joe in Columbus. Hey, Joe, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dom. Hey, Dom, I got a little enlightenment for astronaut Kelly. Combustion cars have always been union made, right? And all of a sudden he's gonna be a combustion savant.
Yeah,
I mean he totally diluted our image of astronauts when they were actual aviators, And I told Henry, and I'll clean it up, but all you got to do now is stick a candle under somebody's butt and AI them up into the space station.
I got you. Yeah, look, Henry, if you can pull that from Gravy, and I like to play it one time in the 2 o'clock hour. I'm shocked. That's the best he can do because he cannot be seen in a Tesla now that he wants to say it's union made. It's stupid.
Dom, he came across as looking like a cult member, plain and simple,
Yeah, I don't see this guy, but you know what? He's the guy that seems to be moderate. He is an astronaut, Joe. Come on now. You and I didn't get shot into space, so okay.
Well, if you could send a school teacher up there or a dog groomer, you could send somebody like him up, too.
How about producers from the lounge? Which producers should we send into space? That would be an interesting
I already don't
question.
do well with flights, so I don't know if
yeah,
I'd
that's
last.
right. Yeah, and I can't see Dan there. Oh no, that's problematic. So
I'd send Howard Stern up there.
All right, give us your big showdown.
Dom, mine was the uncertainty of when we were growing up that we all learned in history. it was, the showdown between, the world powers, the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
That was a showdown of all showdowns to me.
The moment Adlai Stevenson, I'm prepared to wait till hell freezes over in the UN. Oh, man. And the Russian, I'm not replying. I'll get back to you. Yeah.
And the story with Kennedy losing sleep over that was, that was a well-vested nationalistic interest that, he had.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, we have the clip. We'll play the Kelly clip because I want to get to Scott Jennings. After Scott, we have Dom's Money Melody, and we have John Yu, but we'll get you into all those calls lined up on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Whether you're here in Philadelphia or if you grew up a New Yorker like Sean Farish, if Larry Krasner or Alvin Bragg really wanted to clean up the streets of their respective municipalities, jurisdictions that they are the district attorneys of, get subways and public transportation cleaned up, they could do all of this if they really wanted to. They have it in the budget. They're just on an agenda and a vendetta to empower the criminal.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Get your tickets now for Joe Conklin's Comedy Show at St. Matt's on Fayette Street in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 26th, supporting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School baseball.
It was fun. Hysterical.
Super funny. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com.
Transitioning from the military to civilian life can be a challenge, but at Anderson Mechanical Corporation, veterans are finding a career where their skills and discipline are truly valued. Anderson Mechanical isn't just a job, it's a place where veterans thrive. With a culture built on integrity and doing what's right, AMC provides a quality environment where hard work and dedication are recognized and rewarded. This company is committed to excellence, not just in the work they do, but in how they treat their employees. Learn more at amcontheweb.com. That's amcontheweb.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. We should be joined momentarily by Scott Jennings. You see him on CNN, usually the 10 o'clock show, but all over the place. He is the must-watch. I'm picturing him on the 5. I'd like to see some more actions there, some more dust-ups. But I like Geraldo on the 5. He's a wild card. Was good stuff. Much more than Harold Ford Jr. or somebody like that. All right, so we'll talk with him, and when he gets here, I'll play a cut. At the end of the 10 o'clock show in CNN, the Abby Phillips show, they asked kind of a random question, and what he said this week about people returning to work was pretty funny and very Scott Jennings-esque. Here is, though, Henry, if you can, here is Mark Kelly. This is what I was talking about before. The former astronaut, the senator from Arizona, who was caught driving a Tesla. And for a while he said, well, I like the car and all that. Then you can have a Tesla because of Elon Musk. Here's what he said about his new car, which, by all accounts, is a gas guzzler.
Speaking of Musk, since you got rid of your car, what do you say to people who say, why didn't he get another EV to fight climate change? What made you
Well, I
decide
have
to
the
get this?
same car in Arizona. Same car. I really like it. It's union made. It's a great car. I drive about 2,000 miles a year here in Washington, D.C. And I really like Chevys. I've had really good luck with them. And the one I just got, by the way everything works, a lot better than the Tesla. I like the performance of the Tesla. Some of the stuff inside, bad ergonomics.
Did you like the no emissions on the Tesla, though, being electric?
Yeah. You know,
Because the truck doesn't get
I
very
bought the
good
Tesla.
miles per gallon.
I bought the Tesla for its performance. That thing was really fast. But there were also things I didn't like about it, and I couldn't drive it anymore. I mean, the guy's calling me names. You saw that.
I did see that. Thanks, Senator.
What about the climate? What about that? Let's go to the
Not
one
names.
and only Scott Jennings here, and we'll play that cut from him the other night on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Scott, do you drive a union-made car? You can pollute all that you want, says astronaut Kelly, apparently.
That guy, by the way, when he had his nervous or mental breakdown and went out into the Senate parking lot and filmed like a video selfie of him like crying in front of his Tesla, I can't drive this. I get angry every time I drive this. And then he winds up buying like whatever that SUV was. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, he had a mental breakdown about a car. A car.
Well, Scott,
Unreal.
you are leading a charmed life. I haven't seen anybody better that's living high off the hog here as they put a gallery of people on. I particularly like it when it's somebody like Van Jones you obviously respect, and it's a intellectual duking it out. Or a woman this week who said, why would I listen to you? You got fired from your job.
Well, that's Tiffany Cross.
Yes.
She's a lunatic. And, you know, she used to have a show on MSNBC. She was so crazy on MSNBC, they fired her from MSNBC. Now, when you're too crazy to even be on MSNBC, you know you're crazy, all right? And she was on the other night, and she insulted me, and I let it go. And I said, you know, the first one's free, and then the second one's going to cost you. And then she insulted me the other night, and I said, all right, I'm done with this. I'm not putting up with this anymore. That was my general disposition.
Well, I would say one of the hallmarks of this show, it's the best on CNN, and mainly you're there, is they have brought on pretty entertaining, even if I don't agree with them, economic people of one sort or another that duke it out. And the American people really need some of that to understand what's going on. Where are you right now with Besant, Scott, being the voice now? The other two guys, I think, are in the back closet, I hope, Lutzik and Navarro. And he is out there, and things to me have steadied the more that I see him.
Totally agree. First, on the 10 o'clock show, yes, we put on a number of, I think, good economic voices recently, including Richard Quest, who I don't agree with on a lot of things, but I think he's a really entertaining guy, one of our CNN International guys.
Taking your shoe off on TV is always good, yeah.
I know. He was out there waving the Tim Tam Australian cookies in my face the other night. I mean, he was wild. On the economic team, I totally agree with you. Bessent's in charge, and Bessent we trust. I think the Treasury Secretary is doing a terrific job. He's one of the smoothest communicators that Trump has in the entire cabinet on a range of issues. I didn't know a ton about the guy before he got the job, but I have been really impressed. I think Lutnick is in the back seat, and I think Navarro is in the trunk right now. And which is about where I think they need to be. Bessent's the best public communicator they have. He's good for the general public, but mostly he's good for the markets and the business people. They listen to and trust Scott Bessent.
Scott, inside, you have a lot of sources there. Is there a sense, what I'd like to see with the friendly countries, I realize there are some minute points, but they want to do reciprocity, get whatever we can get. Let's get some things up on the board that we got it from them, they're in agreement, and then we move forward on China. Does this take a year to negotiate with some of these countries?
I think for some of them it will take a while because they're small and fairly inconsequential. I think for the big ones, my belief is you're going to see some major deals announced pretty soon. I mean, you think about where stuff comes from. What's on your clothes? Vietnam, for instance, Japan. I mean, you think about where stuff comes from. I think you're going to see big deals in the short run. But overall, I think there is going to be a new tariff regime, this 10% baseline tariff. But I think the countries where we're doing a lot of back and forth, particularly the ones that we need to isolate China, the other Asian countries, we have to do deals with them, I think, to pull off the president's idea of isolating China. So my expectation, some of those countries, you're going to see deals sooner rather than later.
CNN poll out this morning, I think, showed when it comes to the existential question, who's for the average American? Democrats used to do very well on this, some of it, a lot of reasons. But on this, Trump seems and Republicans to be holding their own we're trying to move back toward the working class.
So this poll that we put out is reported by Harry Enton, who's our terrific data reporter at CNN. The first thing it should tell you is that all of the punditry you have heard about this all week for the last 2 weeks is totally wrong. You have had everybody on TV telling you how the American people are going to reject this, the working people are going to hate this, blah, blah, blah. Totally false. The polling shows the working class is now more in line with the Republican Party. They're moving towards the Republican Party. That's the president's coalition, and they're willing to trust him when he says, I'm going to put the working class first, that's what the tariffs will do, et cetera, et cetera. So the poll this morning, I think, shocked a lot of people in the bubble, but it doesn't shock me. I'm sure it doesn't shock you because this is what you've been hearing, I'm sure, from your listeners for the last couple of years, maybe several years, which is, Donald Trump, kind of looks at the world the way we do as opposed to some of these, Democratic Party elites in Washington. I wasn't surprised at all.
No, not at all. Trump has taken away the image of some Republicans, too, that just over their careers do not project that type of connection. Scott, China, though, when we step up, when that's the sole focus here, tell me what I see as the good news story of the day. The Swiss company, $23 billion, coming into the United States because Trump might put a tariff on medical supplies. I want to see specifics that we start to move away from China. That, to me, is one of the single biggest that I could quantify and say that's what we need to do.
So our reliance on China for economic security and for national security, for medical security, I mean, you think about all the things that we have to get from them, that we've outsourced to them, that if they decided to turn off the spigot, we would be absolutely crippled. I think what Trump is trying to do is end that relationship in that way, decouple ourselves so that we're not dependent on what is essentially our biggest enemy. That's number one. Number two, how do you isolate them? Well, you have to make a bet that the rest of the world is willing to come with us and not them. And I think they will make that bet. Anybody who gets in bed with and does business with China, including us, the United States, knows they are bad actors. They don't follow the rules. They cheat. They steal your IP. Then they make their own products and they try to sell them back to you. I mean, it really is doing business with like the worst of the worst. And I think the bet they're making is, A, we can get control of the things that we have to get control of, especially things that are national security related, medical related, and also the rest of the world will just decide the United States is a more trustworthy partner. We don't want to be in bed with the Chinese because we know how they treat people. That's the bet. I think the bet's going to pay off. Everybody always talks about this. No one ever had the guts to do it. I think it's going to pay off.
I can't think of anybody else on the scene, Republican or Democrat, Scott. I was going to ask you, can you think of anybody else, though, that would step up in this manner to disrupt against China? You've worked in various administrations around that. Even though, I don't even know Ronald Reagan would do it in this way. I get Reagan with the Soviet Union. That was a different thing. And he stood up and stood them down second to none. China is harder to beat because it's not a military threat that the average American thinks about. And they think, why are we trading with them? And they're giving us cheap stuff. So to take them on, it's a little bit more nuanced than Reagan and the Soviet Union.
Well, I can't think of anybody who's more willing to disrupt the status quo than Donald Trump. I mean, oftentimes my assumption is, and my view is, that he's often told by people in Washington, well, you can't do that. We've never done it that way before. And that's like, if you tell Donald Trump that, he will literally go out and do it the exact opposite way. But that's what's happening on China. Now, I think the prevailing theory for years has been, well, the more we do with China, the more we'll export our values to China. We'll sort of turn them into us, and it'll be fine. That's not happened. And that was an interesting idea, and a lot of people tried it. A lot of presidents believed in engagement as a mechanism to change China. Well, it just didn't happen. They didn't change. In fact, they got worse. And I think Trump is looking at that idea saying, okay, that was a failed experiment. Now we have to deal with the reality. They're the enemy, and we cannot outsource our economic and national security to our enemy. And he had the guts to try to do something about it. I think everybody else in the world knows he's right. We're the only ones big enough to lead the charge. Now Trump leads the charge. I think the American people are going to reward the risk-taking here.
Scott, Supreme Court decisions, even the one with you have to get the guy back from El Salvador 9-0, even in there was a little bit, it wasn't as ferociously going after Trump and the Trump administration. But Amy Coney Barrett, I didn't have, I'm not sure what you were doing and how inside you might have been to have a sense of it. Seemed to me, okay, the Republicans did not miss on this one. She was unbelievable during her confirmation hearings and seemed to have every component of what I would want in a justice. But I got to say, I thought it was maybe she wanted to be allied with Roberts. Now on her own, we're starting to see she's not exactly in step with what I thought she would be.
So some of the conservatives are upset with Amy Coney Barrett. I've heard some other conservative legal scholars who are kind of parsing through, and I'm not a lawyer, I should say, who are parsing through her writings. She's done a little bit of her own thing, even though she hasn't aligned herself with the conservatives always, where they're saying, look, you're going to have to give her the space to be here because most of the time she's going to be where you want her to be. I don't know what to make of it other than to say my expectation is that more often than not, she's going to be what I think the conservatives would want her to be on the court. Now, it is true that, when conservatives put conservative constitutional jurists on the court, we don't expect them to be politicians. We expect them, to follow the Constitution and follow the law. Democrats expect them to be politicians. Democrats expect them to not even pick up a law book. They just want them to vote the political line of the day. And that's not what we expect. Occasionally that means you're going to end up with a conservative that votes a way you didn't expect. I'm willing to give her some more space here because I thought she was inspired choice at the time. Like you, I thought she killed it during her confirmation hearing. Getting her through there at the end of that term was nothing short of a miracle. So I'm not ready to throw out Amy Coney Barrett because I still think inside of her is one of the best picks Donald Trump could have made at the time. And I guess I'm hopeful that she's going to be what every conservative thought she was going to be over the long run.
So, Scott, for you, in addition to CNN, LA Times, still going strong with that, is a book in the offing.
Actually, yes. I've got a book coming out this year. I'm not I'm not ready to announce it. I'm not ready to announce it yet. I don't have many details, but stay tuned. You'll be one of my first radio calls. But you'll be able to read some Scott book pretty soon.
Okay, because we do a big thing, and we've had really big, but you would be spectacular, called Politics and Pints. meaning we have alcohol there, we have 1,000 people, and we have guests such as Scott Jennings talk about their book or whatever.
So book it sometime this fall. And we'll see where we are on the calendar. But sometime this fall, you can bet I'll be there. It's going to be an amazing experience, and I promise you're going to be one of my first events because I'm looking forward to unveiling that for you.
Oh, Scott, we really appreciate that. So where do we go for all things Scott Jennings, the podcast? Where do we go for that?
So you can find me mostly on X at Scott Jennings KY, and from there you can find most of my video clips and other public appearance type stuff. My podcast, which candidly, because I've been doing so much writing, I've taken a couple of weeks off from, but it's called Flower Country with Scott Jennings. You can get it anywhere you find a podcast. But if you want to keep up with me, I use the X platform. I find it to be the most helpful thing at Scott Jennings KY. I try to post a lot about what's going on in my life and video appearances on CNN, speaking engagements, and so on. So that's where I suggest you go.
Thank you, Scott, very much. We're booking it already. Our top guy here is already getting the booze ready.
I love it. Fantastic.
Thank you, Scott. Have a nice weekend. Thank you, Scott. Scott Jennings here on Talk Radio 12. All right, Henry, put that one on the calendar. That would be a good one. The one guy, all right, here's a little bit of Scott Jennings. A little bit late, so we didn't play it with him. Here's what he said this week. At the end of the show, they have a segment like, what would you change or what should be done? Here's what Jennings said about remote workers.
All right, Scott.
All right, America, I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. We're going back to the office 5 days a week, and we're going to wear business attire. We're no longer dressing like hobos, and we're no longer going to act like every job is a part-time job. Go back to work, put on a tie, stop whining. Let's get back to business.
Start with Elon Musk.
Get back to
Seriously.
Anna Navarro with them. We're not going to dress like hobos. Put on a tie. All right. Good stuff there. All right. You heard Mark Kelly, too. We played that a moment ago. And that was more extended. The guys seem like in the beginning, he's probably, well, come on. Just because you say union doesn't matter. You can drive a gas guzzling car. And Kelly starts, I love the performance of the car. Didn't this guy get the memo? It's supposed to be about the environment. That's all that matters. And really, if you're on that side and you believe in that, that's true. You're supposed to sacrifice these other things. I mean, as much as I oppose that, that would be consistency. If you say it's about the environment, then you don't get a car because you say it has more room, it's more high performance or whatever. You get it because it's the car that matches the environment. If you want to buy an American-made car by every metric out there, who is it that has American-made cars? Who has that pedigree? It's Tesla, by every account except the Navarro guy. I'm glad Scott Jennings said the same thing about the Secretary of Treasury versus Navarro and Lutnick. The Lutnick guy bothers me more, but Navarro's more dangerous. I mean, come on. It's been nuts with him. As soon as the secretary's involved, here we go. So hopefully we're going to see these major countries line up in a short period of time that we have deals with, and then we really focus in on China. 855-839-1210, you get on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all that you need to do is just push pound 1210, but it is time right now for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Has all the money gone?
That is exactly right. Boy, we're playing for another big prize today, a pair of tickets to see the Philadelphia Phillies versus the San Francisco Giants on Thursday, this coming Thursday, April 17th, 4:05 p.m., first pitch at Citizens Bank Park. It's Independence Blue Cross Senior Stroll the Bases after the game. Fans 55 and over are invited to go onto the field and stroll the bases. For tickets and information, visit Phillies.com.
Yeah, Dom, so today, that side question, we're talking about that all-time showdown.
Yes.
And when I think of showdowns, I think of final fight scenes in movies.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to play some music from a very famous fight scene in a very famous film franchise. And it's a very famous song itself, so I'm only going to play a snippet of it, so you better listen quickly. I want to know the name of this movie in which this music is coming from, all right?
Yep.
All right.
I know most of those, too. I won't give any clues.
Yeah.
Here. I'll wait.
Don't give any clues
no
out
clues.
because
Okay.
I think if you know it, you know it, and you're gonna know it right away.
All right, 855-839-1210. Hit us with that, and you are going off to see the Phillies this Thursday. Great 4:05 start time. 855-839-1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
You could not offer me a salary high enough to work for SEPTA.
That's a tough gig.
Is that worst job ever for you? I think worst job ever for me would be flight attendant. You can't throw them out, like you could if you were bartending or something.
$250,000 a year. You driving a SEPTA bus?
$250,000?
$250,000 a year.
How many days a week do I have to work?
You got to work 40 hours, Harry.
40?
Yeah,
no, that's too much.
Yeah, I mean, come on, let's go, Harry. What are we doing here, all right?
Get up, Harry! Come on, let's go!
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
If you need to replace those old drafty windows and doors, then it's time you call my friends at Guida Door and Window. Guida is offering interest-free financing options that are sure to fit your needs. Depending on the scope of your project, you can take advantage of 0 down and paying 0% interest for up to 36 months, or take even as many as 72 months. Yeah, that's right, up to 6 years of low monthly payments with no interest. This kind of financing will keep your monthly payments affordable regardless of the size of your project, while you benefit from expertly installed energy-efficient windows and doors that lower your energy bills and increase the value and comfort of your home. And not to mention, Guida will help you save on the price by giving you 20% off all their products. Restrictions apply, minimum purchase required, financing subject to credit approval. This offer is for a limited time only, so call Guida today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's GoGuida.com.
President Trump is making New Jersey safer, securing the border and deporting dangerous criminals. And he's getting no help from Phil Murphy and Trenton Democrats. I'm Jack Chittarelli. That all changes when I'm governor. On day one, we'll end Murphy's sanctuary state and ban sanctuary cities. We'll work with ICE and take the handcuffs off our police to keep our communities safe. It's time Trenton Democrats realize we need to protect our communities. When I'm governor, we will.
Paid for by Chittarelli for Governor Inc., 99 Gray Rock Road, Suite 202, Clinton, New Jersey.
It's time to get focused. Focused on improving the lives of our beloved pets by feeding them the most nutritious pet food on the planet. With 2 decades of experience, the Dogs and Cats Rules stores can guide you in the right direction to meet your pet's needs. Fads come and go, but there's no substitute for premium meat inclusive food for your pets. If you changed your pet's food lately and they're starting to look like a shaggy dog, smelly ears and biting their feet all the time, you need to come into one of our 7 very convenient locations or visit dogsandcatsrule.pet.
Noble Gold Investments alert. Gold has surged 46% in less than a year, doubling the gains of the NASDAQ and S&P 500. But this isn't just another rally. Investors are losing confidence in paper gold and demanding physical metal, creating a massive gap between gold owed and gold available. But this isn't about how institutions broke another system. It's about how you can profit from it. Right now, Noble Gold Investments has a limited supply of investment-grade gold bars and coins available. As banks scramble to fulfill their obligations, pushing gold prices higher, you can profit. Smart investors are already moving into physical gold. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy for you to do the same. And right now, when you make a qualified investment, Noble Gold will add a free 10th-ounce gold coin to your order. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com now and turn their panic into your profit. NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
From North Wales to Willingboro, we know your favorite stations, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That is right. All right, here's today's clue, and name the movie where you get this showdown, big showdown song. All right, Ken and Percy. Ken, where does that come from?
Not sure. Is it Rocky IV?
No Rocky IV. All right, decent try. Brad in Glendora, New Jersey. Brad, what's the film?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Oh, that would be
That would be Star Wars, I believe, Jedi? Return Jedi?
Good try.
No,
You
not,
get in the right
not
ballpark.
that Star Wars, but you're right
Okay.
there.
All right. Jerry in Wilmington. What's the film, Jerry?
Yeah, I got a side question, too. That's Star Wars The Phantom Menace.
All right. Very good. What's your side answer, Jerry?
I didn't hear this if anyone said it, but I'm going to say it, and there won't be any explanation needed when I say it. That would be Pat Steaks versus Geno's Steaks.
Yes, that's an epic showdown. Yeah, you don't need anything on that, particularly when Joey Vento was alive. Yes, right across the street. In fact, Dr. Phil had them on to try to broker the peace on national TV to lead off one of his seasons, and he couldn't do it. I thought there would be violence breaking out there. Yep.
The beginning of the end for Dr. Phil.
And they had Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil in the street there trying to broker the peace. Did not work. That was a flaw. All right, so we got a winner in Jerry in Wilmington. Enjoy the Phillies game. We'll do Dom's Money Melody, of course, again on Monday. All right, coming up, John Yu is a native Philadelphian, and he, of course, was the architect of all the stuff that went on with Gitmo, as far as what could be done and not, et cetera. So anytime there's issues with what we've seen play out this week, certainly with all these Supreme Court decisions with illegal immigrants, what you can do, what you can't do, where we are. And I did want to ask him about Amy Coney Barrett. I differ with my friend Scott Jennings on that. I hear what he's saying, but I'm suspect of Amy Coney Barrett. And look, I want the best and the brightest there, but I don't want a miss on anything if possible. And what do we do when the other side, I heard what Scott said, the other side is just putting people in, you know how they're going to vote. It's definite. Well, we know that Roberts is all over the place. Is Amy Coney Barrett now, and it could be some huge cases coming up very soon. So we'll get to John. We'll get a winner today, $50 gift card for the week to Gallows Seafood in Harv's Burger Bar in Northeast Philadelphia. Visit them online at gallowsandburgerbar.com. Friday night, Saturday night, you got to get to Gallows. Okay, coming up, John Yu. We'll break all of it down, and we'll get a winner here on Talk Radio 1210. Let's talk first, though, about Martin Water. I told you yesterday about the shower thing when Trump signed the executive order. But it's important to make sure our families, too, have the essentials: food, shelter, and, of course, pure, clean drinking water. A lot of news about drinking water these days. Just do what I did and count on Martin Water Conditioning to secure your family's drinking water. The Connecticut system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap? Crystal clear, all natural water. Not only the best tasting water ever, but it provides peace of mind knowing that your family's water is pure and clean. The Martin Water Conditioning family is passionate about water. They'll put their 46 years of experience to work for you. Their customer service, I told you about our guy, Dwayne. When they come out to the house, they are immaculate, attention to detail. And they'll test your water, and they really love showing you solutions, what's in that water and how they can get it out. So contact Martin Water Conditioning. They'll take great care of you. Click on martinwater.com or 800-887-7555. You know you've been meaning to do it. Do it now. 800-887-7555.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
The Philadelphia Historic District has announced plans for 2026, 52 weeks of first celebration.
Let's schedule our 2026 June-July vacation right after the show today, Greg.
So you'll celebrate football, but not America.
I'll celebrate
Royalty
America.
fly.
I just won't do it in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
I'll watch it from a flat screen.
Yeah. Soccer will do it like on a boat in the Poconos
Thank
or
you.
something.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I'll go south and we'll all reconvene a couple weeks later.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game, stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, we fight for you, making sure big insurance doesn't throw you a curveball. With over $25 billion recovered, we're the home run hitters you need.
This is gone!
Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Morgan & Morgan is responsible for this ad. John Morgan is licensed in Florida and Tennessee. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you looking for a lawn care service that delivers great results and is safer for your family and pets? Choose Natural Lawn of America. At Natural Lawn, they use environmentally friendly products to grow lush green lawns naturally. Now's the time to start. Schedule Natural Lawn's full-service program today and get free seeding every year. For a greener, healthier lawn plus free seeding, call 800-FREE-SEED. Call 800-FREE-SEED now. Choose the locally owned and family-operated Natural Lawn of America. Greener grass, fewer weeds, guaranteed.
See Joe Conklin this summer on the Ocean City Boardwalk with the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, July 12th. It's Philly sports put to music. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. When we see all these Supreme Court decisions, all the stuff on illegal immigration, Venezuela, massive stuff this week, we got to bring in the big guns. John Yoo is the Emanuel Heller Professor of Law at the University of California at Berkeley, native Philadelphian, big fan of the Eagles, I think the Phillies too, and he joins us again in his hometown on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, John, welcome back.
Hey, thanks. Yes, definitely the Phillies, although are we the only team in the league that's lost to the Braves?
Yeah, yes. And you like the nice, John, I don't know if you were watching the full game, Rojas letting the pop-up drop in front of them. Oh, man. It was tough stuff. But, on the upside, Stott, who handles the bat very well, hit a foul ball in the game 4 times at an usher last night, a female usher. It's out there nationally. So, John, when you picked through this week, even though I wouldn't say, but I'll defer to you, that the Supreme Court was definitive on these district judges, they came pretty close to sending signals that this court does that you're not the third branch of government.
That's a fair way to read what happened. The court in these cases involving immigration and spending, downsizing, they didn't really decide anything finally. They didn't really reach the main constitutional questions. But what they spent a lot of time doing is telling district judges, these trial judges, that they'd gone too far. Take one example. Out here in San Francisco, there's a trial judge who basically stopped the government from firing anybody.
Right.
And then it turned out he didn't have anyone in the case who actually worked for the government. That the people brought the lawsuits were like public employee unions and interest groups. And the courts aren't supposed to just sit there and issue what they think about what the government's doing. They have to have a real case before them with a real plaintiff and a real defendant. So that's exactly how you should read it, as you said. This is just a Supreme Court bringing these wayward trial judges back into line and saying, don't rush to judgment, follow the normal procedures, and give Trump a fair chance to make his arguments.
Now, John, as we've talked about before, I did broadcast, I think the first radio broadcast from Gitmo, and looking back on it, and I thought then, this is the perfect solution to the problem that we faced. I'm not sure that El Salvador is. I mean, Gitmo, I guess they reject it for being too costly or something else. And we're going to end up with situations where the court did say you have to get that guy out of the El Salvadoran prison. Pretty much, you have to make an effort to do that. Compare, since you were, I don't know if you like the term architect, but I think you were legally of trying to figure out how to deal with these enemy combatants. How do you see El Salvador versus Gitmo?
There's a big difference. Gitmo, we ran.
Right.
It was still under our control and was run according to American standards. And you hand over someone to El Salvador, and they fall under the power of another government, and we're not able to dictate what happens anymore. The second thing is, you want to make sure that you're not making any mistakes. The government doesn't want anyone at Gitmo who's not really a terrorist. But it looks like what's happened with this El Salvador prison is that as the government conceded in the case, that they'd made a mistake. They sent someone there who wasn't supposed to go there. And now one of the fights is, how do you get him back?
Yeah, very, very difficult. John, did you sit in during the Bush years, or were you asked Supreme Court justices? I'm asking it for a specific reason because the other side does not miss. Now, I know we don't want to be totally political, as they are with their choices, but Amy Coney Barrett, to me and listeners this week, I got it when it seemed like she was allied with Roberts, that he's the Chief Justice, et cetera. But on her own this week, in one of these cases at least, it was kind of a disturbing sign. I don't see any reason why she wouldn't be with the other judges on this. Did you have any input in the Bush years?
Well, first, I think conservatives shouldn't be so worried about.
Okay, go ahead. You're the second guy.
Back.
I had Scott Jennings on right before you, and he said don't be as worried either. Tell me why.
Well, if Justice Barrett weren't on the court, then Roe versus Wade would still be the law.
Right.
Harvard would still be using race to make admissions decisions, and New York City would still be able to take your guns away. She's voted consistently on the conservative side, way more, I would say, than, for example, Justice Kavanaugh or Chief Justice Roberts. But there's one thing she doesn't like, and it actually may, in the end, be better for the Trump administration. She doesn't like the Supreme Court and all these lower courts handling these cases in some kind of emergency posture where we don't have all the facts, where judges are issuing injunctions left and right before they've really had any hearings, and the Supreme Court then has to step in and do the same thing. And so she's voting the way she is because she wants the courts to take their time to stop using these emergency measures to really decide the case. And so that actually may be better for the Trump administration in the long run, even if right now she's voting to say, I don't want to hear these cases, even though it's the trial judges that are making the mistakes and the Supreme Court's being asked to come in and clean up their mess.
That brings up the issue, too. And again, I defer to you, but it seems to me, I get the pace of the court. They want something to be ripe. But we have these big questions out there, election integrity, particularly before the election in 2020. Why is the Roberts Court seemingly unwilling to get in there and give us a decision? I think that would go a long way to stilling some of these battles.
Well, I think part of it is Chief Justice Roberts in particular is really afraid of getting the court pulled into politics, like Democrat versus Republican politics.
Right.
And so I think he, in particular, would love the court not to have to decide any cases about elections. And so I think that's what's going on. He, didn't want to intervene in Pennsylvania, for example.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
2020, even though I thought he had good grounds to. And in that case, that leads him to sometimes vote with the liberals on the court. because what he really is worried about is, the court just becoming seen as a political actor. Sometimes I worry that means he ignores the legal questions, because the legal questions are what the court's there to answer. They shouldn't worry about the politics, I think. I mean, they have jobs for life for that reason.
Yeah, and that you hit the prime example of what I was thinking, and that just allows then the fighting to be incredible if we don't have somebody, the Supreme Court, the case with the 3 days after the ballot in, several things here in Pennsylvania. If they weigh in, it's definitive. What are you going to do if we differ with the court? Okay, I have the decision. But letting this go on just means we're going to continue to let stuff fester.
I think that's right. And I think actually you might remember Justice Alito and Justice Thomas are very suspicious of what was going on in Pennsylvania and said, remember there were these questions about the security envelope and how can you count non-postmarked non-signed ballots. That is one of the rules of the Supreme Court, is to make sure that everyone's voting rights are recognized. And if there are people who are not voting according to the rules, it's diluting the votes of people who followed all the rules properly.
Exactly. John, look in your crystal ball now down the road more imminently. What do you see as something coming up that might be major with the court? What are some of the decisions that you sense we might be getting?
Well, actually, except for these Trump cases, it's been a pretty quiet year. But there's one case I think everyone's watching, which is out of Tennessee, I believe, and it's about whether a state can say no use of surgery, no use of medicine, puberty blockers for children, right? There's only for children who want to change their gender. And so this raises a lot of important constitutional questions like, is transgenderism, do you have a constitutional right to that? Even if you do, doesn't the government have the right to ensure safe medical practices? Who gets to decide? I think that's going to be the most important case out of this term.
And I think as part of that, too, parental rights, if the parents say they want to do it, we don't let them say kids can get drunk, for example. There's going to be a lot of play. I agree with you, because this is an issue, despite what I sense is 80-20 of Americans opposing this stuff, that is still going to be debated very, very fiercely. So where do you see the Phillies finishing this year, John? Is this a team most likely to be in the World Series?
Ever since I was a kid, I always predicted they go to the World Series every year. So my batting average.
And how about drafting? Are you into the draft? Are you looking to see the Eagles? You will not believe how ferocious it is here. Down the hall from me, WIP, the big sports station today, one of the hosts, and I kind of agree with him. He wants the Eagles to take this Penn State linebacker, who might be the third pick in the draft. He's that good, and give up all 8 picks in this draft if we have to.
Oh, to give up 8 picks? That doesn't make sense. That sounds like the Sixers.
Yeah. Well, that's another story. Hey, John, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on every time. Thank you, John.
No, my pleasure. Anytime.
Thank you. John Yoo here on Talk Radio 1210, wide-ranging there. I'll be watching this. Let me see. I'll flip a coin. I would say Henry will have to watch it. He's a basketball aficionado. The WNBA draft will be on Monday. I won't watch more than 1 or 2 or 3 picks that I know about to see what happens here. And to hear the commentators say, it's race again. That's why you know who from UConn's picked so high.
Paige Beckers.
She's not the number 1 pick, I don't think.
Yeah, she is.
Is she?
Far and away, yeah. She was anointed her out of high school.
Okay.
She was on the cover of Slam magazine in high school.
I think she's good enough. I think she'll be better in the pros, loosen up to play her game.
Absolutely. And she's someone who battled injuries for 2 straight seasons.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That might be a little bit problem. She's going to get roughed up, too.
But talent wins. There's not a lot of parity in the women's game, so top. It's got to go top.
All right, so Henry will be watching. It is the lightning round next. You got to hit us. We've had some great ones today. Oh, I see some good ones here. Hit us with that all-time showdown here on Talk Radio 1210. All right, one more time to remind you, though, if you have not gotten on board the Sicily train, you just don't visit Sicily. It was nice. I'm headed home. No. You long to come back again and again. Ro and I have been to Italy twice with listeners. Sicily is different. This is exotic. This is one of a kind. That's why every group in the world, the Greeks, Romans, Spaniards, have heard me told that. You know that. They went to Sicily. This is the unparalleled beauty of Mediterranean Europe. And Calabria is part of it this fall with us. Conservative tours. If you know people that have been, conservative tours. Nobody does it better. Sicily, Calabria, all for just $55.44, including airfare, the dining events, the wine, the locales, the local color. They know that's a big part of the trip. Bustling Palermo, the Quattrocante, stunning Montreal, the Palace of the Normans. It's all there. And the Godfather tour. Locales of all 3 movies we will visit. I will regale you with my attacks on Godfather 3, probably, if they let me. But get all the material. Give them a call now. See all the things that are involved. 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com. We'll visit the crown jewel of Sicily, Taormina, Mount Etna, the Valley of the Temples. This is Sicily, ancient, charming, picturesque, and always a country within a country. I will see you in Savoca.
Get ready for
your workouts will.
Stay tuned for.
Are you tired of?
You can skip a lot of things in life, but not everything. With Citizens, get the advice and tools you need to financially handle all of life's unskippable moments. So you're ready for your best friend's wedding, a broken down car, your kid getting into their dream school, and every expense in between. From making a plan to staying on track, make sense of your money with Citizens. Get started at citizensbank.com/made-ready.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Get ready for spring by making a statement in your home with beautiful high-quality furniture from Bucks County Estate Traders. Browse over 16,000 pieces, all high-quality, famous brands, meticulously cared for and curated by our experts. Many pieces are even reupholstered by their talented team of craftsmen. You can furnish every room in your home with one trip to Bucks County Estate Traders. Their team of knowledgeable professionals provides a relaxed and rewarding experience. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com for their showroom in Hatfield.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
That is right. Playing today, the winner will get a $50 gift card to the great Gallows Seafood and Harv's Burger Bar in Northeast Philadelphia. Visit them online at gallowsandburgerbar.com. Let's go to Bill in Palmyra. Bill, What's your
Tom,
showdown?
How you doing?
Good, Bill.
show as usual.
Thank you, Bill.
My answer is a little historic, and it goes a little bit out of the box. It goes back to the days of Thomas Edison, and the answer is AC versus DC. Edison had an electric company, Edison Electric, that generated direct current or DC current.
Okay.
And the country was in the middle of building the electrical grid that we have, utility poles, overhead wires, and so forth and so on. And the competitor was Westinghouse. They produced alternating current or AC current. And there was a real competition between them. AC is dangerous, but not nearly as dangerous as DC current. So Westinghouse won out, and that's why we have AC current today in the country versus Thomas Edison's DC current.
Very nicely done. I still favor Edison.
Another L for Edison.
Fight. Now, the next one is intriguing to me, but this guy's going to have to make his case because when I think of GOATs in any field at any time, I immediately think of a particular horse as something unbeatable. Charlie, what's yours?
I have Secretariat showdown with Sham and the Belmont. Secretariat won by 31 and proved he's the greatest horse ever.
All right, thank you. Yeah, but I don't see that Sham is, you need the other side. When I see Secretariat coming down the backstretch at the Belmont, it's like turning around and laughing. I think I'll let the jockey get off and get back on here.
Well, at least Sham wasn't a dirty cheater like that steroid user Secretariat.
Oh, that's, oh my God.
The Barry Bonds of horse racing.
It looked like a machine coming down there at the end. Boy, which Secretariat? Well, we were going to have a parade for, what's the name? Smarty Jones. I think it was Smarty Jones that had won the Triple Crown. That's how desperate we were for parades. Gary in Newtown. Gary, what's yours?
And in this side of the table, we in the red, white, and blue shirts, we've got Dom Giordano. And on the other side of the table, in the communist red shirts, we've got Larry Krasner.
Oh, match made in heaven. Get him in studio. Get him in studio. That's a number
At
one.
Mulligan's.
At Mulligan's. That's right. Johnny can host that. Can you imagine? He brings his crowd art. Oh, man. I don't know. It is Krasner, probably. I've often think of Sourpuss Jim Kenny would be more deserving of that. Guy in I took this one off already. Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, did you? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Guy. I did Ford versus Ferrari. Do you have another?
No, my other one was.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's why I took it off. Yeah, very good one. All right, let's take maybe one more. Mike in Philly. I like this one somewhat. Mike, who's yours?
How about the fight of the century, March 8th, 1971, Ali versus Frazier?
Yep.
Won a total of 15 rounds. Just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, tremendous. And both of them wore each other out, I think, from that. And as good as Muhammad Ali was, Mike, I was around Joe Frazier several times, and having that guy inside hitting you with left hooks, no human is going to be the same after 15 rounds of that.
I agree. Definitely one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, definitely. And, Henry, they were trash talking, and everything was fine until Muhammad Ali called Joe Frazier on ABC's Wide World of Sports ignorant. Joe Frazier went off, and Howard Cosell's toupee got knocked up. That was a great scene.
That's
all right,
TV right there.
Let's hear a couple of who do you say?
Yeah, I thought the best one today, our friend, the trucker Jay, who's in Fort Myers today.
Yes.
The paper versus plastic.
I like that a lot.
Stephen Haddon Township with the Star Wars versus Star Trek fan bases.
No, that was quite a dispute.
Oh, yeah. And that's why it works, right?
Yeah.
And then I like Bill and Palmyra's answer of AC versus DC. I like the little history lesson to go with it.
Yeah, great calls today. I'm going to go with the paper versus plastic.
All
and it was
right.
a great call, too.
Jay,
Put him into the hat, and let's get a winner.
Yeah, all right. So let's go back to Monday. We were asking for that all-time showman, Jerry in Wilmington today, our our Money Melody winner. He said Evel Knievel. Frequent guest of the Dom Giordano show. Yeah.
Mr. Knievel to you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tuesday, we asked for someone you'd like to have a beer with. Drew and Upper Darby gave the answer of Bob the Hound Kelly.
Yes.
Flyers
Great answer. Yep.
Wednesday, we're asking for that all-time villain. Chuck in Newtown Square played to your heartstrings and picked Elizabeth from The Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may have been biased, but she's a great villain. Really great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, we asked for that all-time immigrant who came to the United States. Another flyer, Tony and Delco, said Bobby Clark. And then today, as you just heard, that all-time showdown, Jay in Fort Myers said paper versus plastic. So if we put all of those into the hat, we get a little drum roll going. Boom! That's a number 5 right there. Jay, down in Fort Myers. You're enjoying the sun. You're going to be enjoying a little gift card, too, for when you get back here.
All right, get back soon, Jay. That Phillies game is this. Oh, no, the gift card is Gallows. That's right. That's even better, Jay. You don't have to rush, but Gallows, everybody else rush on Friday, Saturday. Great spot. Roe loves the salad. All right, and maybe we'll have 7 fishes there again. All right, we're going to need a full report from Henry. He's apartment hunting in the Center City area. So we'll hear some horror stories
Got
from
6 today after work.
Oh, man. And Dan is, and what is the median rent approximately?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I haven't done a lot of good number research.
All right,
I know what I'm trying to keep it under, but.
All right, is it 2,000?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it under 2 per month.
Boy, I can't even imagine having to pay. I've never lived in an apartment, so I have to plead ignorance on this. Privilege entitled. Oh, you haven't. That's right. But you are now. All right, so under 2,000 is the mission this weekend. We'll be back Monday, though, with a lot of stuff. It's a busy, busy weekend. Hope you're part of it. Follow on Twitter until then, though, at DomShow1210, at DomShow1210, and we'll try to keep you up to date on all of it. Love Scott Jennings today. And again, when his book comes out, that's got to be Politics and Pints. That guy is making CNN. You know, I mean, it's the one show that I watch simply because they set him up, he knocks him down. All right, Rich Cioli's next. It's 4 big hours with Rich on the way home on Talk